Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Once again, I just want to quickly get right into who we got with us today. This is OP, as you all know him. OSK was not available today, but we got a very special guest to fill it in. OP, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, Will.
Of course, brother. Well, welcome to Element. And what we got in store for today is actually a slightly less competitive event, but it'll be a lot more of on the entertainment side of this Olympics. So we got 7 events total. 6 of them are individually different. The 7th event will be an encore that you can all vote on. I'll just quickly run through what the name of the events are. The rules will be explained as we go farther, but we're going to start off with the classic Master of Elements. Spin a wheel, choose a class, run it through. Number 2, we're going to do a Stoneshaper Maze, which sounds crazy, and it is crazy, and we'll get into that as well. Number 3 is a no belt round. 4 is Frostborn Castle. 5 is a Sorcery Only round. And 6 is going to be Noodle Arena. So we're going to get into those events as soon as possible, but just to get you started off, we got that Master of Elements spinning of the wheel, the legendary event. OP, how does it feel to be exposed to the wheel firsthand?
It's different. It's intense. It's exciting.
What class do you hope to see us play?
Oh, you know, I'm hoping for a little pyro action for sure.
Ooh, you want to see pyro? You want to see that buff pyro?
Oh yeah, getting hot. I'm ready. I'm excited for that.
Nice and spicy with game 1. So let's gonna give it a spin here and let's see what we got. Build up the hype. Maybe we could get a drum roll. Just be in your home, hitting it a little bit of a. Let's see what we got. I'm hoping for Tempest personally, but instead we got Toxicologist. Okay, so it's gonna be high skill cap on round 1. Get us cracking with the Toxicologist.
Boogies everywhere.
It's gonna go off here. So to start you off, that'll be what we get going. And again, this will be for charity. So just to quickly explain to you what that really means is we will be trying to raise $500 or more for Save the Children's Coronavirus Response Fund. You can check that out with !charity and get all the details. And we're going to be putting all of those proceeds. But one thing to note is subscriptions do not go towards the donation pool. So make sure that when you're contributing, it is contributed through the charity because the donations are a little bit of a separate entity. But that is the point of the backline of the charity here. And we're going to try to get into game 1 as soon as possible. OP, what do you expect to see out of this Olympic event?
I'm hoping to see a lot of people stuck to the floor, actually, with them walking across the boogers and hopefully we see some crazy things. I don't think a lot of the people that I see participating actually play Tox, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. We got players like Timmy, players like King Kaizen. Actually, King Kaizen is a known toxicologist player, but Juklo, all sorts of players that not only don't play Tox very much, but they don't play comp. And that's what I'm actually really excited for today's event, because we got all sorts of players who know that this is more of a relaxed event, more of a charity. And I want to actually shout out one player in particular. They're a moderator for your stream is what I'm hearing,
Absolutely.
OP. Tell us a little bit about that relationship, about a bit of the bias we got on the caster desk.
We might show a little bit of favoritism to a certain player. I've known her for, actually today was her 2-year follow anniversary on my channel.
Oh shoot!
Which is interesting that it's also the same day that she plays in this too, which is Emma, or Beans, as you'll see her in game. Which is actually, she doesn't play Tox either, so it'll be fun to watch.
So what's your prediction on how she's going to place in this event?
Hopefully we see her DF herself a little bit. I would love to make fun of her for that. But I think she'll do fine.
I'm not gonna expose her like that. Let's hope that the caster cam is not on her when an event like that happens. Just keep it on the backside. But we are trying to get into this game 1. It might just take a second because we do have to run through the rules with the players. I will quickly go through the rules. I think many of you actually know for this round, just because we've done a full tournament with Master of Elements. But essentially what it is we spun the wheel like you saw. We choose a class that everybody must select. You cannot stray away from the Toxicologist way. And other than that, you just run through a regular solos round with everybody spamming those boogers. So that is what the Master of Elements is. It's just going to be 1 game of this. Then we move on to the Stoneshaper Maze, which is actually 2 rounds because they're so short. I might as well run through it right now, actually, really quick, just to get you ready. But the Stoneshaper Maze is every single player has to drop at Verdun Estate on Stoneshaper selected, no offhand gauntlet, Hulk smash competition. You cannot jump on the walls. You cannot go anywhere, OP. You are locked in a cage, WWE style, for that Stoneshaper Maze.
We're going to see some up close and personal boulders too.
Oh, some barrel stuffing boulders.
Straight through the hallway.
I hope to see it for sure, for sure. But we are just dropping in, so we're getting ready for the cast. OP, are you ready to cast? First time, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is very impressive. OP's just hopping in the booth, first time here.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. I hope I don't mess it up too bad. We'll see.
No, that can't happen. That can't happen. As we see the drops coming through now, we got Wyatt19035. This is another example of somebody who doesn't play comp at all, more new to the game, but actually taking the opportunity to jump in for these Olympics. Again, this is what I really love about these types of charity events, and the idea behind them brings everybody together before this unfortunate downtime. Going to see the game go down for, I guess, a month to 2 months. Not sure exactly. I don't think they've given us an ETA on how long it'll be. But we got OnlyFans Muffin. I don't think that's legal, actually. So we're going to hope that that's not an actual
tell the authorities.
Brutal, though. Muffin did get the legendary stone right away, though. So he's actually off to a pretty hot start as we try to find an early fight. So all the game modes are actually scored just slightly different. Damage and exiles are adjusted for most of the games. Master of Elements is scored pretty standard because it is just a standard solo game. Here is Beans, the moderator herself, running through. Already got the Shadow Step off to a pretty hot start, if I do say so myself.
Absolutely.
Ooh, looks like we got a bit of a fight. So Sude looking to run up to the top. Got the Invis rune popped. Jumps over the front side. Fortitude is on the hollow as it does break the fall. Nice quick flick from Sude as he looks to finish the kill. 35 on top, and that is Timmy down.
No, Timmy. Oh, man. That's one of the ones we were just talking about who doesn't play Tox, actually. So I guess we won't get to watch him play too many times.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Timmy's out early. Like you said, doesn't play much Tox, gets stuck to the floor. But now we see Juklo with a hollow v hollow battle right now. Two people flexing the cosmetics. You love to see it. Juklo takes the dash rune over, but eats a fireball to the face. This is probably next, based on the way the mechanics are being whipped out. Nobody running Harmony. You see people getting stuck to the floor, but Juklo actually with a beautiful
Sticks!
Styx gets wiped out of the game. Juklo just did that excellently, throwing down his firewall and canceling out the cloud. He knew it was Toxicologist v Toxicologist. He was ready to go there, OP.
Absolutely. So far, it's been kind of nice to see them actually sticking to the floor like I hoped. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is fun to see everybody try their own adaptations of the Toxicologist only build. Since everybody has to run the same class, you do usually see a little bit of differences in rune choices and builds, but for the most part, it's the same type of in-your-face strategy. So many kills coming down early. We only have 24 people left already in this game. Drasticon, now that we're talking about people who don't play much Toxicologist, this man is a fire lord, but not very experienced with the Toxic.
He does play a good bit of Dragonfire, though, so he does have experience with the Gauntlet itself, just not the class.
That is a good point, and he could also run Fire offhand, and then he's essentially just running his build without the Pyro on-hit effect, so he will be pretty comfortable. That's a great point, Opie, from the early cast. Shout out to Opie as we see Trago TV get a
strong Croza. Nice. Trago's pretty new to the game, isn't he?
I don't know, but that was very smooth. I would not be able to guess that based on what we just saw. That was really well played from Trago right there.
Absolutely. He's been giving me a lot of runs for my money recently, actually, in games. So it's kind of interesting to see. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really love to hear that type of thing. You know, player development. You hear about these players getting so good so quick. Some people just have a knack for it, and some people just learn it real quick. And I guess Trago might be an example. More and more kills coming down. Megaverse gets a drop as well. I think we're almost down to lower than 20. Yes, 19 people left already in game one. Nobody wants to be here for charity, Opie. They want to leave. They just want to get out. Game, man. What's going on?
Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. I want to take it back to Cactus Lord, actually. You don't see a lot of PlayStation toxicologists. So it'll be interesting to see that unfold if he's still in.
Something I've heard from PlayStation players is that, like, one of the mechanics that is the hardest to translate over and do smoothly on the controller is using your runes while still, like, keeping your aim and all that stuff. So Toxicologist is a class that relies a lot on your rune mobility. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how they pull it out and see how they can adapt. OnlyFans Muffin seems to be stuck on a post, maybe recording some more content for that website. 19 people in the game. We got a streamer mode, which makes me nervous because they are currently floating in the middle of the map, hitting us with the wave. They know what's going on here. A little bit of action we can see in the distance. Maybe we could pop over to that. Danger Pony looks like he's in the middle of it. Juklo.
Hit by Juklo.
Yeah, Juklo's on a bit of a tear here, OP. Already got his second kill right there, and now that hollow skin is just looking more and more beautiful. Got recovery with the fervor. I think that's probably the standard build. You see his runes there, OP. I think that's probably what we're going to see almost all of. That It was Runic Fluency with that Fervor, and then you got that last little bit on the third rune charge. Serpent Boy, though, not a contestant on the conduit. He's a cheater. Let's hit spacebar.
He's a cheater.
Get me out.
Oh no! And got hit by the streamer mode.
Yeah.
Do we know who that is?
No, I believe it is a streamer player because they are on Toxicologist. I do think that a couple of the players accidentally put on the streamer mode, or at least I hope that's the case, unless we're getting grief. But regardless, Forebear36 just turning the burner right now, and he gets stuck to the floor though, and a DF gets blown in the face. He just got played really quickly by that front side on the tree line. Now Forebear's looking to get the outbreak. He will win the fight if he can land it. He gets it, but the 15 damage is not what he's expecting. Both players are actually completely even in this trade. It's going to come down to one tap. Invis gets popped, but he gets smoked in the face. Nice frost shot from his opponent to keep the pressure. Forebear lucky enough to live. Has recklessness, though, so his damage is going to be absurd if he can get an outbreak.
Minus the white.
Minus that as well. He does have focused mana, too. This is a pretty nice...
That is true.
Forebear. He's going to have very high DPS, but kind of a lack of utility.
Oh, he gets that. There's a rare. Oh, he passed right by the rare Tox.
Oh, no, I didn't realize he has a common right now, too. That's actually such a big game changer. The difference in Toxic Gauntlets for rarity is actually very significant. I think it's up there with Frost and like
especially with both the focused and recklessness.
Yeah, the multipliers definitely are going to make a huge impact. Megaverse, though, completely out of armor, no recklessness for him, so he gets no benefit being in this state. As he rotates around, thinks about taking the ice, decides to go for it. So he's rocking the classic Toxicologist with ice in the offhand as we get farther into this game. Looks like we're entering what they call the mid-game lull, where there's this, in the Spellbreak lobbies, you kind of get into this when it's down to 15 and 20 people, everybody rotating to the third or second tier circle. It's a little bit slow, and that's what we're seeing here. There was so much action at the start that there's not enough bodies in the lobby. Here's a rotation from Staff has 5G. Nice little meme coming out on that username as he rolls up on this fight. The Shadow Step in the pocket, double stack now thanks to Runic Fluency, but doesn't actually see the targets of this engagement. There's one, though. Shadow Step comes up. Staff has 5G now, just rotating to the backside, taking this so slow. Again, though, this is interesting to look at. He's rocking the DF build. OP, I think we're going to see a split between people playing DF and people playing Toxic with Frost.
Right. I think I would definitely go the DF route. I
think I'd go DF
shots.
as well.
Not in my skill set.
Yeah, players like Next, on the other hand, always decide to go with the Frost. Muffin's another player who opted for the Frost Toxic build, actually. But he sees the same fight that we were looking at early. This might be a bit of a huge explosion. King Kaizen gets a kill into Malachi, so that's a nice pickup for him, but OnlyFans just spots, Muffin just spots the fight at the bottom, immediately takes the invis dash through the side, and now pops his own rune. This is a very risky reset, though. 13 people left in the game, and we already know that there's at least 3 members on this front side, so got to be very careful coming through. Beans still in the round.
Still in. Oh, and down goes Novin.
Yeah, nice kill from Sude. That's actually 2 for him so far, so both of them are actually on very significant starts. 12 people left in the game. We're already getting down to a thin lobby. Juco, another player that had a very good start. Both of them on 2 kills now. Sliding through, takes another dash on the run. He has that Runic Fluency stacking up for him. It's nice to have the dash rune for sure with Toxicologist. Gives you such a boost to your mobility with that already deadly slide on the clouds. Juco looks to just be rotating out here.
It is an interesting how you would rather have dash over Tox. I guess it just shows how good the rune is.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Step always seems like it would have that natural synergy because it gives you that invis, but I always see these players with dash on the Toxic. Maybe it's because they like the momentum carry with the mechanic, like you see Juco kind of taking it there, but Juco did receive a big shot to the face.
He did.
Left in the game. Trago, your man Trago getting another
kill. Keep rolling it.
Yeah, he's actually having a hot start. And I just want to say we got our first donation, $50
Nice.
I got to see the details of that, but right as we get right into a fight, Trago again picking off. He's going so hard into each engagement. This man has no fear as he chases off this Toxicologist player. Takes a quick pop on the side, make sure he doesn't step into the opponent's cloud. Fortitude does get ticked, but now Trago has to try to make a move. He is not stopping his WP OP. This is just pure confidence from Trago.
I want to see him lay out an Ice Snipe, though, on it.
Yeah, that would be a game changer. He has decided to go with Dexterity, actually. That's the one that caught my eye. I guess he really wanted Harmony. Probably the thought process there. He did not want to get stuck to the floor. So he decided to take the sack on Fervor and took instead the Dexterity for 1 charge. Now we see Trago trying to make a difference. 4 kills already for him, though. He's off to a hot start. As we said earlier, OnlyFans Muffin goes down to 80 Astral, so I don't have to say that username anymore. Thank
no
you,
more OnlyFans.
And another donation. We're up to $100 in the first game. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. This is quite a hot start to both the games and the charity itself. I'm going to say hot start 600 times today. That's my goal. King Kaizen come over the top. Look at this assassination. Gets right in the face. Tries to do a nifty little combo with the fire on the side of the puddle. But look at this poor player in front of him just getting bodied by 4 different people.
Both sides, yeah.
And yeah, that you know how unfortunate that is in Spellbreak OP. When you pick off one fight, you run right into another.
Right into another one every time.
Yeah, it is just brutal. We see King Kaizen kind of getting his own experience of that as this third-party starts off, but he got a nice burn on him. Goes down another huge DF. King Kaizen is playing this so well. Wow. As Staff has 5G, goes down, King Kaizen pops into this and gets away with the reset. Nice play from our very own King Kaizen. 4Bear36 still in the game, so the streamer mode has not been wiped out yet. Megaverse coming through, and there's only 8 people left with a pretty significant circle OP. I'm expecting to see a 1v1. That's what I hope to. I hope to see this kind of whittle down into a 1v1 situation to get it off with game 1.
You don't want the chaos?
I don't want the chaos. I love my favorite thing in these Master of Elements when it's like toxicologist versus toxicologist. You know what I mean? Who's got the better toxicologist? Sude, though, looks like he's kind of getting run up on as Juplo gets another kill onto Trago. So now there's only 7 people left.
Trago.
Yeah, Trago goes down, but Sude looks like he's about to follow that path as well. Eski Shadow Step, so nifty, but not going to be enough. There is a third party, though. Sude might be getting away with this one.
Oh,
never mind. Kaizen too quick with it as he picks into another fight. King Kaizen just doing this so appropriately. Gets 1 fight off, immediately gets the third party, but does not stress. Jumps right into the fray. Nice little burn and turn from him here. He's got purple, legendary, and purple on his body, so King Kaizen is dressed to impress, already booted up. Throws down the fireball and now looking to slide. Ooh, big damage though. His opponent is doing some good work onto him as this fight continues.
And it looks like he's playing more of an anti-tox build instead of an a-tox build itself. Usually just exploding everybody else's tox instead of using it as himself for bonus damage.
Yeah, that's a great point. And he also is not running Runic Fluency, which kind of shows you that he's maybe more focused on just staying on the backside, not even getting into a situation where he needs high mobility and just looking to do damage. But King Kaizen does get stuck up on the wall a little bit here. Ooh, that would have been a beautiful game-changing flick, but he does get a return as now both players are cracked on shield, just HP left. King Kaizen looking to capitalize. You're right, look at that exact strategy.
Yeah, he's trying. Missed the firewall by a little bit, but that's exactly what he's going for.
It's just like right when he sees the animation for the cloud to come down, he puts down a firewall just instinctually. And now 4 people left in this game as Megaverse gets the kill into the streamer mode, and we are into a 4-man fight here. And this is a beautiful end circle, I must say, for Toxicology. Everything is off to a great start with our charity event today as 4Bear36 gets the kill onto AD Astral, and it's 3 people left. Gets off the turn. King Kaizen, as we can see, has no armor, only health to operate. Slides up the backside. Recovery will help a little bit with his HP situation if he takes more damage, but he does avoid a big fireball and gets a slap of his own. Now he can see his opponent's HP. It's so crucial to DPS check your opponents in these situations so you can have the good information. King Kaizen needs to get some more information as he goes for the push here. Ooh, caught him on the
You see him wait?
Yeah, he literally
waited to
the last second right there. King Kaizen is very impressive right now in this game, I must say. Ever since you called out that strategy he's been using, I've been trying to watch it, and he's definitely consciously just trying to play anti-tox right now.
Anti-tox. It's exactly how I play tox as well, so I love it.
Yeah, but it's one of these very cool things I love about Master of Elements because players make these adaptations. Like, you don't know if he'd be running this build in just a regular Toxicologist round, but since he knows he's going to be up against it, he's able to do this more efficiently. Gets off the front, though. Misses, unfortunately, onto a Shadow Step in Megaverse. And now he gets popped. Megaverse just does the damage. We're getting the 1v1 we were hoping for, but both players are very low HP, so it's not exactly ideal as well. This looks like the end of the first game. We're going to get that situation. I don't think either player has armor, so at least it's just going to be a one-tap. First one to kind of land their shot with the outbreak. Megaverse just barely avoiding. Oh,
Oh, the double up. Here we go.
Megaverse with the slaps.
Wow.
I am not going to lie to you, OP. I thought his opponent was going to take that. Megaverse looked like he was in sort of a whack situation, trying to push off with no armor, but he assassinated the streamer mode. He's the hero for us all.
Hero for us all. Yeah, if you come to my streams, we know we don't like the streamer modes. So
exactly.
Shout out to you, Mega.
Modes. And we get a nice confirmation right there. Megaverse taking game 1. We're going to move over to the Stoneshaper Maze. So quickly to run through the exact details of this game mode. Let me pull it up so I don't feed you guys misinformation. But the rules are, everyone picks Stoneshaper. Everyone must drop in Verdun Estate Maze, as you know on the map. You have to stay there for the entirety of the match. You are not allowed to leave that square maze. You can't even go to the pillars. You must stay in the box. You do not fight when you drop. You wait until the first zone begins so we can make sure that everybody gets into this zone. Everybody's in Verdun Estate. It's a fair fight. So you wait until that 40-second timer zone pops up. You are allowed to levitate above the walls of the maze to a different section, but avoid standing on the walls of the maze. If you see you standing and camping on a wall, there will be issues, but you're allowed to levitate, and if you get caught a little bit, that's okay. But you must just stay on the floor in the maze when you're not levitating. Can't pick up any loot, can't pick up any potions, you can't pick up any HP shards. You are literally your stone, your boulder, and your noodle. That's all you got, OP. That's the only...
That is not fun. Sounds like a nightmare, honestly.
So
all stone.
We're going to have a nice cinematic end to these games because the last standing player, the winner, he runs his ass over to the fracture and jumps in to end the game. That's how we're going to figure out.
That's what I like to see right there.
Yeah,
fracturing.
we all see it. I mean, I'm excited to see like how these players, because I don't think many people have been doing Stoneshaper mazes, so I'm excited to see like what they run. Are they going to go for obviously recovery because you can't use potions, but fervor? You're not allowed to get scrolls. So what scrolls are the strongest with no upgrades? It's all this big brain stuff when in reality they're just going to be punching the ground. So maybe I should
just punching. Yeah, I would say I will probably see some fervor for sure. You have to see some fervor. I'm interested to see if anyone uses fortitude or vital though. I think those will be good options. And the only time I'll ever say vital is a good option is probably right now.
I didn't even think about that. Vital would actually be so crucial for this game.
Especially if you can levitate over a wall and kind of disappear for a second.
Yeah, you pop your vital and then it's going to be chaos, right? So you can just kind of fold out of the fight. Focused mana, I was thinking would be good, but then I realized since you have no other weapons or really anything, you kind of need to just be spamming your mana. So maybe that's not the right option. Harmony,
you only have, three stone slams on white?
Yeah, if you have no amulet, you get 3 stone slams and then it's recharge. It's going to be interesting. But regardless, we are about to see it here. Trying to run it over to Verdun Estate. Going to be everybody dropping into one zone. So we're going to quickly exile ourselves and then wait for about 40 seconds until this gets off. This is probably my first time actually watching like a full Stoneshaper Maze round. I've seen a couple where it's like, 10 friends, we get in and we play it, but I've never seen 30 people.
I've never seen a stone maze. We've done Tox Maze a few times, but not stone. I just saw something in chat where it said Scav would be a good option. I think that underrated.
Oh, Scav would actually be a very good option.
For Scav.
So this is actually not the right side. These people are just regular players fighting it out, but we're going to get ourselves over to somebody who's posted up in the maze. Danger Pony will be one of those people. Oh, looks like they're off.
I guess they're already going.
Yeah, the first circle has.
We're stone mates. We're not.
This is the go time right here. They're ready to go. As this is the fight. Danger Pony looks like chaos. I don't even know how to.
This is insane. Oh my gosh.
Helios Sitch gets a kill with a Windblower. And you see Malachi now stuck in a corner. He's just getting
This is just chaos. I love it.
Drasticon just going in on the burn right there as we wait for this camera to hopefully bring us over. Looks like they're just sliding around on the map. Look at what's going on. It's just blowing up right now. The game
the map is breaking.
I think it's actually busting the framework. Redman has LT that goes down. OnlyFans Muffin goes down. Next goes down. There is kills all over the place as we see Drasticon trying to use his levitate to stay alive, trying to not stay on any of the walls.
Just not even fighting, just trying to get away. I love it.
Staff has 5G, is full HP, full armor, by the way. This guy is looking in a threatening position to capitalize. He's watching it come down. He's getting noodled to the face a little bit, though, as he throws a boulder over the side. That was a very correct boulder, as it looks like Staff has 5G is now trying to turn it. It's interesting because Noodle will actually be useful to hit somebody who's levitating over you.
It will. I haven't seen it yet.
Because you waste so much mana. Like, it's very expensive to burn it. Ilya gets a kill into Zen, so he's actually killing it as well. Kroza kills Megaverse, and Staff has 5G actually lost so much of his effective HP. He was off to such a hot start, but now it's just a roll fest. As Staff has 5G, looks to regen a little bit. This is the type of build we were talking about. So he's got focus mana, fortitude, and recovery. So he's actually going for something we were not expecting. I certainly was not expecting this type of build or this
double.
Type of...
I was hoping for a clat right there.
Oh, that would have been
gets him anyway.
That was a nice little double slap for Staff has 5G. That's 5 kills on the day for him. Sticks his calm, gets the noodle down onto King Kaizen. You hate to see it in the kill feed as we see more action unfold. Ooh, boulder to the face. These people are trading accurately. Ilya Sitch gets the kill into Ziap, and Novon goes down to Staff. I predict Ilya versus Staff to end this first Stoneshaper round. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing 2 rounds of these. So this is the first of 2 for Stoneshaper Maze, and then we're going to jump over to, I believe it is the no belt round, but I will double check that after we get out of here.
It is, yes.
Getting the confirmation from our guy, James, aka Docta, in the production. Shout out to him again. Staff is 5G. This is probably the 1v1, so this is Ilya versus Staff. I believe this is to win it, as both players are so low. Staff just has to recharge.
Oh, there he gets it. There we go. Is that all? Oh, there's a hollow coming out of nowhere.
It's not over. There's a hollow skin popping
constant. There we go.
This is actually like WWE. They are tapping in and out like duo.
Oh, he turns around.
The Vital Stone.
The Vital Stone. There we go.
Big brain, but Staff has 5G. Says I'm gonna eat it regardless.
Boulder.
Noodle him.
Oh, blocks the boulder.
Staff, get him with the noodle for the gentleman over here.
There we go. Sticks gets noodled. That's what we like to see. The noodle. No. That's amazing. And I think that might be it.
I believe that's it.
8 kills on the day in this craziness.
Is my favorite part of Stoneshaper Maze personally is after you win, you do a lap around and say, any more challengers?
Like a little victory lap. I love it.
But there's nobody left. So Staff looks like he's won this round. We're going to wait a second to realize that, and he's going to just exile himself off the map. We're going back to Caster Cam, and we're going to get ourselves into the second round of the Stoneshaper Maze. That was not what I was expecting. I expected it to be chaos. I did not expect the actual game to freeze up. It was so intense.
To break itself. That was wild. And we didn't actually see Scav. I don't think I saw Scav on anybody, which would have been a great play. But
yeah, that was
insane.
It was a really good point brought up by, like you mentioned, OP. I think Jovan was in the chat mentioning Scav as like a very good option for this. And after watching what we're seeing here on the delay a little bit, Staff got 8 kills. So, I mean, how much effective HP would that have been for him? He didn't even need it. He actually went with Fortitude, Focused Mana, and Recovery. So the unorthodox build takes a huge dub right there. Nice plays from Staff. He was just fearless. I think that's the key to this game mode, maybe. Because Drasticon, we saw him kind of playing a little bit more safe, but you're not going to get away from anybody. There's no real choice.
No way.
Nowhere to go.
You can't. There's nowhere to go. You can go up, but you got to come right back down.
Exactly. And when you use your Levitate to escape, this is something the big brain, when you use it to escape, you have no damage. You only have your boulder cooldown, which does very little damage at level 1.
Very little damage.
Crazy.
So if you're going to go up, you better have that ready to roll.
Exactly. When you're up there, you better be ready to block it. So we're going to actually see one more round of that, and then that'll be the end of the Stoneshaper Maze. Definitely a chaotic game set. The scoring for that is a little bit different because, well, I mean, for obvious reasons, you can see why it would have to be different. But the way it works is you get a couple more. I believe the damage is a bit increased for your score is a bit increased for damage points because, you know, you're just slamming damage. That's the name of the game. We're going to get into the second round. Do you expect to see Staff take another dub back-to-back, or do you think it's just kind of rolling the dice?
Well, something that I noticed he was doing is he actually did back up to heal. I don't know if you saw, he did back up to slam the ground to get his shield back up before he engages a few times. So if he sticks with the way he's playing and no one else picks the same build or copies or goes scav or anything that's a little bit different, I could see him taking it again. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also something he was doing that was really interesting to see was he wasn't using his boulder like super aggressively. Well, he was to do at the end, but it seemed like at the start when we were watching him, he was saving his boulder to block other people's boulders from up top. He was not really jumping around. He was staying on the ground and just taking like AoE control almost.
Right, yeah.
It's ridiculous for me to say that because we just saw 30 people punch the ground in a maze. So for me to say AoE control, maybe
it's a little hopeful there.
It's a little bit interesting of a take right there, but we're hoping to see a similar result. Staff definitely going to get a major advantage if he can win this back-to-back. The way this works is we compile all scores across all events. So to get a huge start in something like this is a game changer for you going forward into no belt, going forward into the sorcery only round. So you can see, is there any scores? Yes, there is scores. I think I believe if you ! scores, you can see who's participating and how it's all building up. So check that one out right there for you. Nasty Blitz. And other than that, I'm thinking one more thing to mention, already at $100 of the goal. So shout out to, I believe it was Chris and OSK, but I will double check and make sure I'm not misrepresenting the people, because we want to get a big thank you for that. We're just going to wait a quick second here as we get into this next round. So what is this Olympics so far, OP? What were you expecting and how has it been turning out so far? Is there any major differences in what you were kind of like walking into that you expected?
I did not expect the pure insanity of that last. I don't know. I don't know what I expected from how many people we have in here? 30 something Stoneshapers. I don't know what I expected from that, but it was not that. It was not that, and I'm glad that it was not what I expected, because that was just so much better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing I was kind of thinking, because I played it with 10 people and it was like super chaotic, and in my head I'm like, oh, it can't get any crazier than this. You put 30 people in, it's just the same BS.
Just insane, because I don't know how many like turns there are in there, but there can't be that many more than 30. So it's like every corner you turn around, there's somebody just slamming a hallway.
My favorite is when you see somebody slam the ground and it hits like 4 people.
4 people just straight in a row.
Like, you know, the like aesthetically pleasing noise it makes when it hits like a bunch. And I'm like, oh man, what I would do to be in there holding down M1 and just
spamming the ground. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So we are actually just loading in. We're dropping into the game and we're going to get right into it again. Thank you for sticking around. Again, you can check out the charity with !charity. It is the Children's Response Fund for the coronavirus. And we are going to see exactly what we got in this last Stoneshaper Maze round. Going to bounce over. Remember, it takes a couple seconds to start. We're waiting for the first circle to pop. It's about 10 more seconds until the fighting begins. Going to bounce ourselves over. We got our eyes on Croza, and the fights will start in 6 seconds. Look at the posturing. Everybody just bouncing.
It's just such a funny calm before the storm dance almost.
And then it starts. Oh, and then it just
breaks into all hell.
That angle. Thank you, Doctor, for showing.
That was fantastic.
That was so good.
And just the sounds.
First kill onto Novon. Beans goes down early. You see Noodles flying. Logic gets the kill. Damage coming. Crows are slamming the ground right here. He can go farther. Ooh!
Astral going down.
So this is where we're gonna see like what strategy
goes down.
Kind of saw in the first. We're gonna see stuff translate. Crows is definitely playing the corners, but it's like not making a huge difference. As you mentioned, OP, at the start, every corner is gonna have a kill.
It's just
as
people
Logic goes down.
And Staff has also already gone down as well, so.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Great call, OP. Staff has 5G is out of the game, so the winner of the first round has been usurped as Croza looks to get. Ooh, nice little roll.
Croza's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, Croza's like, this is the most mechanics I think I could expect from a Stoneshaper Maze.
Right. Croza did not like me saying that Staff was gonna win again. He was like, let me show him. Let me just show him real quick.
He has it up on delay. He's pouty as he comes in here.
He's upset by my call out.
Juplo is somebody I was expecting to maybe do well because he does have a lot of hours.
What a great boulder.
Malachi caught that boulder with his dome.
It's a straight to
the kill with the finish. That's 5 for Croza already. He's full HP as we continue to watch his reign of terror.
He's playing around these corners very well.
Yeah, he is. This is definitely something he's conscious about, is turning these corners. And also just, look, he decides that that's not worth it. He just peels out of the fight, uses his uptake. Gonna wait for the vital stone. He went with scab.
Oh, this one's sitting staring.
The prophet.
Oh. A delayed boulder.
Yeah, it's hard to watch right there sometimes as it comes down. Megaverse gets a kill with the noodle onto Wyatt. So Croza is actually still looking good here. Takes a quick noodle to the dome. Maybe we get a rotation off of Croza. Even though he is popping, I do want to see some other angles. Hit that quick little space bar and see. Hopefully it doesn't bounce over to somebody who's not in the middle of the maze. But actually Croza's right into another fight. So he gets turned and burned. Timmy goes down to Stitch's home.
Oh, Mega comes in, wipes him out. And then Mega gets wiped out.
I almost feel like Mega didn't even expect to hit Croza there. Like he was just charging up and then it landed
just
onto
around
Croza.
a corner and
exactly.
Boom. It's crazy to see, like you pop up just a second over the top of those and you catch a bullet in the face. You come back down and you get caught by right a corner.
Yeah, we saw earlier that exact example of what you're talking about. Croza was full armor, full HP. He took a boulder, landed into 2 stone slams, and then he's down to 24 HP. So and then he's gone. Exactly. It's a snap of his fingers in the Stoneshaper Maze. This one's going a bit slower, though. Definitely seems like players have kind of picked up on ways to, you know, like you were mentioning again, to heal up a little bit. Take some time to just slam the ground, get yourself back up to 20 out of 20. As Danger Pony gets another noodle. More noodles coming out of game 2. So it's fun to see the transition here. 13 left in the game. Don't know how many of those are actually maze players. I believe there's about 4 people left in the maze. As Zayaf tries to weave a noodle through the top, gets a boulder off 2. Nothing gonna land. Has no more HP, and as you know, you cannot drink a potion. So Zayaf is stuck at where he's at in terms of effective HP. And this looks like they're just taking their sweet time. Nobody wants to pick off this fight right away, even though there's nothing much to fight for. Ooh. Yeah, Noodle fight's coming through as the boulder lands huge damage onto his opponent. Zayaf has Wi-Fi. Definitely happy about how that one translated. He's probably waiting for his fortitude like we saw right there. Takes a quick bounce. Makes sure he doesn't stay up there too long as his opponent may be getting a little bit too feisty on the top of the walls there. Absolutely. Down now. Yeah, this is a much slower.
Ooh, and that right there is exactly what I was talking about. You pop up a little too high, you catch a boulder, you come back down, and you're gone.
Yeah, Styx definitely being the beneficiary of that one as Black Lotus 25583 gets a slam, and I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 more people in the maze. Black Lotus is checking his corners. I think he conquered it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Black Lotus took the dub here. That's 2 kills for him. Oh, there's one
more right there.
This is the funniest part about it is the way that they
because we don't really know.
This is nutty as Black Lotus takes 2 shots to the face. That's a lot of damage. Stone has a very high base damage at level 1, as everybody knows, and we see the result of that. I think it's probably the most powerful level 1 gauntlet, as Black Lotus is
interesting that he goes for the double noodle instead of 1 slam right there.
This is what we were also...
The guy is on the ground and he just double noodles.
Why have 80 damage when you can slap some noodles around?
Right.
The storm comes through. This is also what we were expecting, is the storm to start breaking it up. But Black Lotus somehow staying alive here. This is the last fight to win it. And Black Lotus is going for the noodle.
Still noodles. It's the noodle power. It's the noodle power. That's why he's alive. And he gets it. Whoa. Wow. Disrespect in the wave. Daggum, dude.
We are done with Stoneshaper Maze. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a pretty crazy experience, but that is the end of that type of round. Black Lotus, I'm watching him. I know we're on Caster Camp, but he's doing 360s into the fracture. And that is the end of event number 2, Stoneshaper round. And we're going to get over to no belt round, which will be, again, a solo round played once and getting through it. OP, what did you see that was different in game 2 of the Stoneshaper Maze compared to game 1, if you saw anything different?
So game 1 was very chaotic. I don't think they really realized how chaotic it would be, just like we didn't realize. So they get their toes wet a little bit the first round, and then they kind of get their bearings for the second round. It lasts a little longer. They peek around corners a little bit more. They get a little more cautious, which was a little bit more skilled, I think, which was cool.
Oh, dude, 100%. And something that was really interesting is seeing all the players run scaff. After we had that conversation in game 1, I saw about 6 or 7 different people, including the winner, Black Lotus, running that scaff, and it made a huge difference. Game time was longer. It went to the point where there was a storm coming through.
It did, yes.
That's a great observation to say. I mean, people have very little experience playing in these crazy mini games, and that's part of the reason we wanted to get this this fun type of atmosphere. But it was cool to see people still get a bit sweaty with it,
Absolutely.
Pull a bit of comp out of it, That's always interesting to see. And this is the no belt round. This is actually the one that I was probably looking the most forward to, just because there's the most variability in the builds, right? Because you can pick the class. It's the same with the Sorcery Only round, but I kind of feel like Sorcery Only is a bit more pigeonhole, because it's like there's certain sorceries you kind of need.
Right. Like you're not going to be playing Tempest unless you're trying to do that DF NATO thing or curving boulders or whatever. But I think what we'll see from the no belt is definitely we're going to see the Frost, the Toxic, and maybe some Stone, probably with Focus Mana Recovery or Recklessness.
Yeah, I mean, that's the debate that was going on in my head as well, was, is it going to be like a Frost dominant round, or is it going to be Stone? Because since you don't have belt, you can still kind of have armor with Stone. But I think a lot of people might just embrace it and go Recklessness, and then go, like you were mentioning, Toxicologist, something where you can just kind of pop off. I know these players all have a lot of experience. Whoa, Tacos with a $50 donation.
Tacos.
You guys are too
coming
sweet
in
right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're already at $150 raised for the Save the Children Coronavirus Response Fund. That is massive. Thank you so much.
Gotta love Lewis.
Gotta love the Spellbreak community coming together for a good cause here as we see another good cause, the No Belt Round. Event number 3. I apologize, not game. This is the event number 3. But also, the other thing to mention is that we were going to have a halftime break following this round. It's going to be a nice little collection of videos put together. I also want to give a big shout out to Nikolai Hexide as well as Jovan for creating the stream assets and the transitions that you're seeing right now. They did a fantastic job as usual. So a massive shout out to those individuals for their creative work with Element. And we are right into it. So this is the cool part is we're going to analyze really quickly what people have gone with. Of course, Recklessness, I mean, that's a guarantee.
Right off the bat.
Do you think Fortitude is going to be more, or do you think Fervor will be what people? It looks like Fortitude.
I think Fortitude. I mean, you don't have that belt, so it's going to absorb any first shot. So when you're thinking about, you're taking damage from ice and tox most likely. So I would much rather have Fortitude for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, as well as the fact that I think people are going to expect a lot of Frostborn with this round. So Fortitude is known as a pretty natural counter to Frostborn. But next, actually going with the other build you were talking about, OP, the Recklessness Toxicologist. So this is again the coolest part about this type of game is that players can still play to their strengths, and this is a crazy start. Everybody's in this small little circle outside of Halcyon Village. It looks like everybody had the same idea. Remember, guys, we don't have to drop at the same spot anymore. That was the last event. Spread out a little bit here. As Danger Pony is also near the Halcyon area, kills all over the place. Tristan gets a kill onto Ski Zen. Ilya Shich gets a kill as well. And we see more chaos. Styx' Calm going the Toxicologist route and actually not going for Recklessness at all. But
he does have that focused in there. So what we've seen so far is we've seen Toxicologist and Stone and Ice. That's it so far. And everyone's either had Recklessness or Focus Mana, and most have had Fortitude or Fervor.
It's super interesting, though, because it's like what I just realized when I saw the recovery on that player, I was thinking, okay, that's garbage. But then you realize that because you don't have a belt, recovery actually makes a very, very handy. It's 100% effectiveness because it's always being used. But then again, so is Recklessness, right? This is the balance, is both of those talents will be in constant use. As we see two players scrap it out here. Looking at the top side, Megaverse as well is rotating around. He's actually going with Thirsty. This is so funny how everybody's taking different type of approaches to it, but next gets a kill into Sergio Bear. Nova on 1 goes down as we see AD Astral looking for a snipe onto a Pink Marla. Actually doesn't get spotted, takes the shot, but isn't detected. And now he's going to have an opportunity to get right in the face right there. Teleports in, but this is a very questionable player.
These people, it looks like this person has lagged out.
I believe, yeah, that is unfortunate. I was just thinking to myself, there really is bots in Spellbreak, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Muffin.
But that player disconnected. OnlyFans Muffin going with the.
I think Muffin is the player that's disconnected.
Oh, you're right. It's because of the lag. We switched over to him, and it replayed his final moments before disconnecting. And we got another donation. Thank you, Curse TTV. Shout out to you, man. Cursed. Thank you very much for your contribution to the Save the Children Coronavirus Response Fund. We appreciate you, man, and we are back to the action. Juklo going with the Frostborn as well. Recklessness. This is okay. So I think this is like the cookie cutter build that I would expect. It was that Frostborn build with the Recklessness, of course, and then the Fortitude that you were mentioning. I think that is kind of what I expected the most. I'm surprised to see so many people play Toxicologist. It's a very straight up like risky style in my opinion.
It's very risky.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of reward. Right? Say that again.
There's going to be like a lot of third parties, I feel like. So without a belt, it's just a tough situation. And you were mentioning too, there's a lot of reward with it though, because you can blow somebody up. They have no belt too, just like you. So that 90 damage outbreak is essentially a one tap.
It's huge. It's huge. If you can get your scrolls early, then it's game over if you're a Toxicologist.
Yeah, scrolls make a massive difference in these no belt rounds because you're just at a disadvantage. It's just like when somebody loses one sense. If you lose your sense of smell, so your sight gets better. If you lose, you need to have a belt. The reliance on your other things gets a little bit higher.
It does.
You pay
a little bit more attention.
Yeah, exactly. And it also because you have less things to make a difference. But Sude is going to die here. That was just an unlucky getting stuck on the side of the wall to eat a frost shot into Boulder. Sude is in trouble. Recovery's helping just a little bit. Dexterity as well. Harmony not doing a damn thing, though. No. As Sude is just getting smoked in the back. Nice little bit of maneuvering, though. This is one of my favorite parts about playing around a castle in Spellbreak is that with a dash rune and with appropriate timings, you can actually make some work.
Especially because his opponent is stone and ice, so if he plays it right inside this castle, he could actually turn it on a dime.
Yeah, that was a really
what we're looking at right now.
Oh my!
It's exactly what we see.
Wow, so you actually are the prophet of Spellbreak right now, making that call, and then it happens right away. Get this man, get me off the desk. Let's just get OP stuck up here. This man's making the calls as your friend Beans takes some damage.
Ooh.
Logic deletes
zap. You gotta love that.
Yeah, that's unlucky right there. That's something too that I was kind of thinking of is, wouldn't Conduit be super strong? Or am I wrong?
No, Conduit with, especially if you throw Focus Mana and Recklessness on Conduit right now, it can be very intense.
Yeah, that's, and it also,
and you can stay back. Yeah, you can stay back, kind of pick from a distance. Especially if people are using that Fortitude, it only takes one of your bursts to knock that off, and then you're straight into damage.
Yeah, I think a player like, Next or Kroza could really do some damage with Conduit in this round. They're very good Conduit players to begin with. As Drasticon is getting hit with a Lightning player, speaking of it, nice little dash to the side, though. Quick flick doesn't land the snipe. That would have been a game changer, as now Drasticon is actually the focus of this assault. Turns over the side, tries to shoot off a response bolt once again, but doesn't get it, and actually eats a fireball to the side. Logic is just
Logics again.
Great. This is an example of a player who is maybe a little bit newer to the scene, and this is one of their more, one of the first events that they've contributed to, and it's really exciting to see these players jump into the Olympics, get right into it, play aggressive, play their style, and it's an interesting game for sure, as we see Cactus Lord looking to land some air shots. Logic, just to keep note, gets another kill, this time onto Ilya Sitch, and Cactus Lord is going to press his advantage. Nice backwards dash, but he gets a lot of damage down, and he actually finishes Logic. So that is kind of a third-party situation, maybe like a residual third party, but Next gets a kill as well onto Jack of Clubs, and we're down to 12 people already in this no-belt round.
And I didn't even think about this at the beginning, but Stone has that Stone skin. So you don't even need a belt, but you have one built in.
Yeah, so it does give you defense in a round where there's almost no defense. Styx's Calm has picked up a belt, so
coming in clutch with the normal Styx play, sitting in a tree. You gotta love it.
He is literally known for these tree grabs as Kev Demand 4321. That is the greatest username I've ever seen in my life. As we keep dancing around here, a couple streamer modes here and there, unfortunate, but yeah, I do think Conduit is underrated in this mode. I think it could be a super powerful class.
Right, I don't think anyone's running Conduit.
Yeah, I don't see a single Conduit, which is super odd. I would expect Next or one of those players to run it for sure. Sude, look at this storm fight, getting right into it. 2 back-to-back air shots, looking to finish the kill as well.
Ooh, there we go. He gets Next.
Yeah, that's a big kill actually right there, because Next is one of those players that no matter what the situation is, he can pop off on a dime. So Sude getting a huge kill, staying calm in a situation where you're fighting in the storm. It doesn't seem like much. It's easy for us to say on the caster's desk, but as you all know from playing Spellbreak, there's a high intensity of fighting in the storm, taking constant damage. Speaking of constant damage, Cactus Lord is laying it down here, misses a crucial air shot, but follows it up regardless. Nice quick turn, but gets frozen. Spellslinger.
He got lucky with that popping off the backside.
Yeah, that was very unlucky. He actually was so close to getting the cast down for his fire, but I think it got stopped maybe half a second before the iframe came. So Cactus Lord not finishing the kill due to some unfortunate situations. Does get the kill into Adventurer 42, so regardless if he finished the second one, it's nice to see that he was able to get away from a third party, or at least defend himself.
And he is sitting at 4 right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's sitting nicely with 9 people left in the game. Personally, I'm cheering for Kev Demand. I know he's not in the tournament, but I just love that username.
I don't know. I like the Windblower. 005?
Yeah, 005. Let's go. Pioneer 42 goes down to Mega for the win. This man is just making a living off of hunting streamer modes. I don't know how he's doing it, but every streamer mode in the lobby meets his demise through Megaverse. Sude kills Cactus Lord, and he is getting the spectator prize. I may be covered by the Element Olympics bar, but there are 10 other people in this lobby watching Sude. So the tournament contestants themselves are excited about what they're seeing from Sude. 5 kills in the no-belt round. To quickly analyze his build, he's doing that recovery we were talking about. He's running Harmony to avoid any extra burst damage. This is definitely
he's running Pyro.
Not what I'd expect. But yeah, this is a little very different take on the no-belt build.
But he does have that ice on hand.
Yeah, I think Ice is deadly for this because nobody has enough defenses to stop it. Windblower goes down to Styx's Calm. As you see, I think he accidentally F-keyed a belt. He is obviously not drinking any armor, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I trust Styx's Calm. Sometimes when you're looting up through a pile, I kind of expected that to maybe be an issue. You know, you unintentionally hit the F key onto an armor. I mean, onto a belt, but
all the time.
Kev
Did you notice he was jumping right back in that tree?
Yeah, he's getting nice and cozy. Always known for his tree strategies and plays. Megaverse for the win has a legendary stone that is going to quite literally two-tap these players if he can get it procced with the focused mana. Remember, 5 people left and the circle is massive. Megaverse actually taking a very well-aimed shot. Doesn't get the connect, but it was a very good effort. Megaverse still rolling through with that focus mana, like we mentioned. Fortitude fully stacked, so the cooldown should only be about 20 seconds. Huge,
that's a lot of damage
to start the fight.
Oh, and it gets stolen! Oh, Soothe.
No, Soothe.
Oh, no.
Look at him.
He's like, what? No way.
Megaverse with the body language to show us how disappointed.
He did a lot of damage. I don't know how he didn't get that kill.
Yeah, Megaverse, I think, landed a 45 into a 39, and then Soothe just clipped the shin and got the kill. So unlucky. Remember, Megaverse does still get points for getting the damage down, but the Exile is just the cherry on top. It gives you such a nice boost, as Soothe is going to get revenged on. Now Megaverse wants to show that he's not happy about having his kill.
You stole my kill.
This is mine. Soothe rolls over the side now. Shadow Step off cooldown as he tries to jump over. Remember, Soothe does not have the runic fluency, so he only has 1 dash to burn. There it is. Megaverse takes his shot, but he doesn't land it. That would have been it.
And he does have Dex too, which can keep him off the ground for this as well.
Yeah, maybe Soothe expected to see a lot of Stoneshapers, because that is like a very anti-Stoneshaper build he's kind of running right now as he jumps over the front side again. Soothe, one thing I will mention is he's doing a really excellent job of using his Shadow Step in a way that you can't predict it. Because I think a lot of times players really telegraph the way that they're going to, oh my god, Kevin, man, I love you, but you got clapped, man. Soothe just ran through. 3 people left in the game. Forgot where I was even going with the earlier point. Soothe is just too distracting. 7 people down to his count. 3 people left in the game, and Soothe is just off to a tear. Look at the kill feed. That's 3 in there. So we see him try to close out this game right now.
He's looking pretty. He's got gold Ami, gold boots, gold flame, full talents. He's doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, he's definitely well read. This man has been through all the literature. He's on everything. His professor is very happy with his status on readings, but Soothe gets clipped in the front shoulder, and now he's definitely going to get pressed. His opponent knows he's low. This is the pyro
is coming in clutch.
Yeah, that recovery is also making a big
recovery, right?
Yeah, no, I know what you meant right there. But Soothe coming through the side and gets hit with a huge turn onto him. That ignite actually makes such a big difference as he looks to finish the kill here. Just gonna need one more hit.
Golly.
Soothe's aim
rolling through these people.
Oh, he top now, and this is gonna be a 1v1. Soothe looking to get his pots off. He does burn it, but now this hollow skin is on him close. Soothe gets away just enough to build a bit of space, tries to take a frost shot, but doesn't actually spot where his opponent is, but now he gets the view. Jumps forward. Soothe is just so aggressive. Look at how he's playing right now. This man is on fire.
Oh, sticks to the storm.
And he walks himself into the storm. Soothe just destroying that round. As I'm getting a look at the screen, another donation, and this time it's from MG Sizz with $50. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. $255, and we're only halfway through the first day. We might have to readjust our donation goal, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait to send this over to the Save the Children Coronavirus Response Fund, and it's all thanks to you guys and the Spellbreak community. Opie, how did you feel about that first half of casting?
It was very fun. Yeah, absolutely. You were right when you told me it would go by very, very quickly. Yeah. And it is. It's flying by.
It is no joke. You forget that we just played 4 games of Spellbreak, and there's another donation. I'm going to have to double check on the name. It was Talk1 or Tack1. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a $50 from Tack1 as well.
They're all coming in with the 50s.
Oh my God, you guys are ballers. Huge. Thank you. So we are going to keep you guys obviously updated on the status of the charity and the drive we are running. But first, enjoy the halftime video created by Nikolai and Jovan, our beautiful content creators over at Element. And shout out to James, aka Docta, for doing the production. And shout out to you, Opie, for coming through. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in about 13 minutes.
With extra time, I'd like to think I would.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the halftime break, the nice little compilation of videos. But before we get any more of that done, we got to get into the games. We got Frostborn Castle coming up next. It's very similar to Stoneshaper Maze that you guys saw, except this time you have to land at Banehelm Keep. And of course, you got to select Frostborn. This one is all about who can hit those snipes and who can hit the shots that they need to succeed. The thing is, the build path is going to be interesting, OP. We know Fortitude is a guarantee, but I want to hear your opinion on what you think the other two options are going to be. Focused Mana is probably pretty probable, but I don't know. We saw some variability in the other builds when we thought it was a certain thing. So I'm interested to see what you think is going to be coming out here.
I'm pretty sure that it's just going to be Focus Mana, Fortitude, and Recklessness. You can run other things, but when you only have one shot per mana bar, you got to make it count.
No, I agree.
And you're not going to have enough. Like you could use maybe Recovery, but it's going to be too much damage, I think, coming at you from all angles to really make that work.
Yeah, I think a big thing too that people always forget about is because we're so used to playing the game in like a mid to end game setting, but when you land, you have no mana. And Frostborn especially, I think you get maybe two Frostbolts off.
You might, yeah.
Yeah, a Frostbolt and a Noodle.
I thought it was one, but it might be two.
Yeah, I think you literally get one Frostbolt and one Noodle per mana bar. So to put all your eggs into one basket, you have to hit that shot. And it's going to be interesting to see because Stoneshaper Maze went by super quick, but before we got Docto with a $50 donation. Once again, we are already at 355 in the first day. We set the goal at 502 days, and you guys are blowing it out of the water. We're going to have to readjust exactly what our goal is. We'll keep you guys all updated on the charity and how we're sending the money. We'll show you guys the whole process, so it's very transparent. But thank you again, Docta. And getting back to the games, like you mentioned, it's going to be interesting to see because Banehelm Keep as well, when we saw the Stoneshaper Maze, there was very strict rules about the terrain. You couldn't get on the wall. You can't jump up and hold yourself too high with sorceries. But with Banehelm and with this round, we could see people camping spots. We might be able to see people fight over high ground, things like that. So it's going to be cool to see like the differences. Also, again, this will be 2 rounds. So just like Stoneshaper, it's going to be 2 short rounds of this Frostborn Maze. Do you have any prediction on who's going to win this one, though?
I'm gonna lean towards next a little bit. One thing that I think is gonna be kind of interesting to watch is since Banehelm is all the way in the corner, you don't have the likelihood of getting the zone. So the likelihood of you getting your next level in your class is very low. So you're stuck with just running on ice for probably most likely the whole time and not ever upgrading into the next skill.
That's a very good point because what we saw with Stoneshaper was the second game there was a storm that entered, and Stoneshaper is obviously going to go way faster than a Frostborn round. So there's a very high chance that these players are not only going to have the pressure of no mana, low abilities, all you have is your Frostborn, but you're also going to be getting ticked by the storm and getting sniped. This is going to be an insane start after halftime. Remember, this is event 4 out of 7. So there's 6 individual events, and then we have an encore round where the players who are participating get to vote for pretty much what their favorite was, and then we run that back for the 7th event, which is just kind of a replay. But we are switching right into the game. So enough of the chit-chatter and right back to the action. Again, this will take a couple seconds because players have to wait until everyone's in position. We're going to bounce around. This is not the Banehelm we're looking for. Banehelm is kind of one of the most interesting of the castles, in my opinion, because you have the entire front side. Oh, look at these two working together to get themselves over. Proletariat, we're not teaming, I promise. Please, don't.
And
no TOS here.
Build from Logics with Fervor. Unless he's trying to go all noodle damage, I don't see how that's going to help him at all.
Yeah, I think I strongly disagree with Logic's build here. I think this is probably one of the worst options you could have gone with. And it looks like it's going to be starting off right here. So he does go for a lot of noodle action.
He's going for the noodles.
He's certainly getting his use of Fervor as we see the Fortitude and the prevalence of that coming through. Doesn't land the shot, decides not to go for the noodle there. But we just see how crazy this game mode is as they're taking shots back
oh my gosh.
forth. And the noodles are coming out as well. Something I totally forgot about was the CC that you get with Frostborn. I didn't even
think about using Harmony. And I think that would have been a great idea.
I think Harmony would have changed the entire way you play this. I think taking
Absolutely.
focused mana here probably feels like the natural thing to do because it's like goes with the Frostborn. Stick's actually not going with the first talent. He's only taking
Interesting.
Fortitude and Vital Stone.
Vital
Actually, I don't
Stone.
even think that's that bad. I don't think that's
I don't
troll.
think, what would you do in this situation? What would your build be?
Honestly, I would probably just take exactly what Megaverse is running right here and just try to cheese people and do probably exactly what he's doing right here. Just post up on a
Sit in the
side.
corner.
Because there's so much going on, it's really hard for players to track you, like, individually. So Megaverse taking advantage of that. He is getting on the back side here, taking more shots. He hasn't landed any, but that one
There we
goes.
go.
Wind
You only
blower
have to land
05.
one.
Exactly. You only need one, and it does 90 damage to a no-belt target. Megaverse gets a kill, so now we're seeing if he can follow it up with another one. Noodles are coming out, takes a shot, sees his opponent get pressed, but decides not to actually
I
go
think he was
too far
actually going to go
forward.
for the left one, and then that outbreak condom kind of popped up, and he switched his target.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of an unfortunate situation. Luckily, I think the Storm is not going to be pressing these players too hard. We might have gotten blessed with that one as Zayaf has Wi-Fi, takes the kill onto OnlyFans Muffin. AD Astral now has the Fortitude proc once again, looking to get a follow-up shot. Nice 28 little burst on the back as Astral looks to finish a kill. But the CC, like
Frozen.
you mentioned,
I'm
OG.
thinking it would have been smart to go Harmony. I think if I was in this situation, I would go Harmony, Fervor, and Recklessness and just noodle everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
Ride
I
on
think
everyone's
as well,
trails, get up, and just noodle people.
there's also like not that much use out of recovery in this game mode, in my opinion. I guess because it does give you that extra sustain, but I feel like once you get hit by your first frost, you're pretty toast. Like there's no real point. You can't
I
drink.
feel like a lot of these people are doing small half shots, unless they're sitting on the top like Megaverse was sitting. All the people that are running around are doing like 28s, some 30s.
Yeah, Frost is also one of those classes that the common gauntlet is pretty garbage. It does very little damage. It really spikes when you start getting blue rarity, but of course these players do not have that option. As Zayaf has Wi-Fi, he's actually on his second noodle kill of the round. Juflo also gets a noodle kill of his own, but it's finished by Zen860 as Novon gets frozen up. Harmony once again.
It's that Harmony.
Useful. Crows is the one running it, so he's actually taking a bit of advice. I think this is probably the best build, is the Harmony with the Scav and the recovery. I think this is probably ideal for this type of situation. As Zen860 gets his second kill, Zen definitely not known as a Frostborn player or anything close to it, but he's still whipping it out here as AD Astral gets a kill into Malachi Senpai. Zayaf has Wi-Fi is clearly just repositioning on the backside. Zen gets another kill, this time with the noodle.
With 1 HP left.
Oh my god, Zayaf is actually
right there.
He is quite ready to get noodled. I think he's perfectly ready. As next drops to AD Astral. Nice kill by Astral. Megaverse gets another kill as well with the noodle. Tons of hand animations coming. As Drasticon, we switch over just in time to see
perfect timing.
Slap. Drasticon gets that open hand turn onto Black Lotus. And this is, I think,
open hand.
I think this is probably more enjoyable for me to watch than the Stoneshaper Maze. It's like a little bit more of a strategy on the top as we try to get back to the zone that was fighting in. We see now that they are going to be pressed by the circle, so this is where the game mode kind of takes its turn. There is a very strict time limit on these game modes because of the storm. As you can see, Zen860 does not have the option to drink pots, so it's a slow tick. Now
it does have the recovery.
It does have recovery. It also does emphasize the fact that the winner of these rounds is those who can get a couple kills, get damage so that their scorecard actually matters. Because something I want to mention for somebody who might have some initial ideas about this game mode, you get a lot more score for getting kills and damage. Surviving to the end does very little. So the storm is not a big concern if you're the one dying. But Zen860 on the other hand is just showing off the Kovacs. Look at the flicks, and he's just going to finish that kill into
Megaverse with the crouching.
I think Megaverse was just happy with how it ended up. Look at the kill feed. He had 2 back-to-backs onto Styx and Kroza. But Zen looks like he's trying to make a nice return here. Drops that. Harmony going to save him.
That was a great.
That was kind of filthy. I think that was probably the dirtiest thing you could have done in this Frostborn only round. It looks like Zen is the conqueror. Hits the flex on him.
Hits the flex.
I think it's appropriate that we move back to casters. Maybe we'll wait 1 more second and just see. Yep, Zen is headed for the
he's not
fracture.
even going to check out. He knows.
He's not. He knows.
He
I
knows.
think we all
win.
know.
This is mine.
So that is going to be the first round of the Frostborn Castle fight. We're going to do 1 more of those as we can exit the spectator and we'll wait for the second to go. After this, we're going to go back to another type of solo round, which is going to be Sorcery Only. I think this might be probably the craziest of all the game modes just because watching an end fight when you can't use your basic attacks is going to look ridiculous. But that's what we're going to get into after the Frostborn Castle, and we got 1 more round of that. I definitely think we're going to see a major change in people running Harmony. I think they learned their
Yes.
goddamn lesson. They are
They
running
learned a
Harmony.
lesson. They want that Harmony. I'll be interested to see if anyone uses Noodles more.
It looked like Noodles actually were a lot more consistent of damage source than I expected. Like, people were using it not as a meme, but as an actual source of finishing off kills and focusing targets. We saw, I was just watching, because of the delay, I got a second look at the way that Zen was able to finish off the final kill, and it literally was only because of Harmony. Drasticon did not have Harmony. Zen did. He stood on top of him. It's over.
Popped him off.
And because you can't pick up items, you don't have belts, you have no real defenses other than recovery. So once you're frozen OP, your round is pretty much over, to be honest.
Yep, absolutely.
So this will be
it'll be nice to see.
Yeah, we're gonna see the classic salty run back of the Frostborn Castle one more time. Same rules, same everything. Hopefully the circle. It would be a dream if the final circle could like encapsulate Banehelm, and then it's just like a 2-hour Frostborn Castle round.
Just forever.
People
2 hours long.
Popping shots, peeking like I'm playing Fortnite over the top side here. But that's definitely something I was expecting but didn't see at all. But before I finish that off, we got another donation. This one is from Zybo. Thank you so much for that donation to the Coronavirus Response Fund through Save the Children. So we appreciate you for that. But back to this. The focus of the Frostborn, though, is that I was expecting people to play like around corners. I was expecting to see people play a lot more like Megaverse did, where we saw at the beginning. But instead, it was a lot of people just trying to freeze somebody and slap them with a noodle. That's like literally what it was.
It was kind of nice. It's more like a freeze tag type of round, which is I'm hoping to see someone run the Harmony Fervor Recklessness build and just noodle everybody. Just freeze them and just noodle them.
Just go for the full meme on the W.
Full W key.
I want to say, Sloth Hugger is asking, is source only map restricted? I hope there's a massive bonus points for Tornado into Fracture. I don't know if we have anything in place.
Yes.
But if you kill somebody by pulling them into the Fracture with a Tornado, I'll leave. You guys can just watch the game. We don't need a cast because I'm going to have a panic attack if I have to watch that live in one of these games. Waiting just a second here for the for the last Frostborn only round to start. It looks like we did get lucky. Banehelm is relatively covered by the portals, so it shouldn't be too long of a wait as we get through here. But yes, to answer your question, it is not map restricted. Sorcery only round is just like we play it as a regular solo, except you can't shoot regular abilities. I'm interested to see if somebody accidentally shoots an ability and then everybody just gangs up on them. You know what I mean? Like they're like running through.
Yeah.
And they accidentally. Exactly. This guy's cheating. Like he like taps his keyboard. Yeah, exactly. Everybody just we get a group report on some poor player as we come through here. And we're gonna see exactly what the Frostborn looks like for the final round. This will be, I think, the last of the mini games, or do we have one more that is double rounds? Oh, we do Noodle Arena. I'm sorry, that's the most excited round of all of them.
The best one. And
we're gonna switch to Spectate Cam as we see our players get over to Banehelm. They have about 5 more seconds to go before we start the battle. You see Tristan NN waiting to get onto it, and this is the start. So they're actually able to do damage right now. The timer has begun. Tristan is rotating around. Doesn't look like anybody's in front of him, but he does see one person. Decides not to shoot. Oh no, I was wrong. It's still 16 seconds until they can start fighting. Oh no, I'm not. I'm wrong once again. They are fighting. Tristan is psyching me out because he wasn't going for it. But Thunderson actually kills himself, and now Tristan looks like he's down for the count as well. AD Astral hits him with the back-to-back into the double noodle. Good night, Jim Kite, as this is the end of his round. And we see Astral's actually, this is a really, really great spot. Back is covered by the stairs, so not too much exposure. As Kroza gets the count to Zayaf, Evolved kills Vanny Uwu, and Black Lotus noodles Timmy down for the count in this early Frostborn. Look at the strategy. We saw it come out earlier. AD Astral. Learned their mistake. No, what is this? Why would you not run Harmony after what we saw in the first game? This player is going to lose their life for their rune selection. Never mind, Vital Stone coming through. Missing that Phoenix recovery, but instead we got the Vital Stone. One more noodle is probably going to do it here. That is the game for Wyatt9035 as AD Astro looks to continue to push this advantage. Next gets a kill into Yeasty Zen, and more chaos unfolds. Zen is looking to back-to-back. Look at that!
Again!
No one tried to freeze him, but he had Harmony, so he gets the freeze. Still dies, though!
It's got anyways.
Logic with some beautiful play. Somebody might think that was controller. I mean, somebody might think that was auto assist, but Logic actually hit all of those shots straight on the par with PC mouse and keyboard. And look at the turn as Malachi Senpai hits him with a snipe right into Logic, getting a beautiful kill. Malachi now looking to capitalize even farther, looking to push a Noodle. He actually gets bumped in the back as Next gets another kill with the Frost. Sude gets a kill on a Black Lotus. Sorry, what's that?
And he's using the Harmony with the Fortitude.
Ooh, so, whoa, I didn't even notice. He's actually opting to not run a third talent. Just straight front and back. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I guess it does make sense that you don't really get too much of a benefit unless you run Recklessness. But I'm surprised I don't see more Recklessness, to be honest. I think it's such a great rune with Frostborn. It's because you can legitimately one-tap somebody. Styx is calm, playing that strategy that we kind of expected to see more of. You see he's posted up on the high ground, looking down on the fight. Gets a nice 50 shot, and he's going to look to try to actually finish that kill. Ooh, that would have been a YouTube highlight if he could have pulled it.
There we go.
But Cactus Lord, either way, eats the shot to the face, and now Styx is calm, getting up right in the front. Another kill as he gets off the side of Banehelm. He's going to have to try to rotate back into the circle. Oh, he pops into the tree. What is new, ladies and gentlemen?
He's missing, though.
Yeah, he's not on his point right there. His AD Astral's definitely looking good on the Noodles right there. Kovacs Trainer gets the quick shot off. That would be game-changing if she can land it, but doesn't actually get the connect. Still chasing, though. A nice Noodle over the side of the ridge. As AD Astral looks to finish off a kill. Knows her opponent, I apologize, is about 50 HP. There it is, another follow-up Noodle. AD Astral making the most of it. Nice quick snipe off the side of the wall. Going to try to finish the kill. Sees them come out of the Vital Stone. Just loses them for a quick second. You see Fortitude actually got popped as well. So they got to try to break the immunity like you see right there. One more flick, Astral. Going to get the try to Noodle. Staff has 5G, goes down. Great play from Astral all around. That was actually a really surgical kill onto the top side as Next gets a kill onto Sude as well. Aiming off now. AD Astral's trying to hit somebody from deep. I wonder how many people are left in the circle as we still see it's closing on them. We should see about 2 or 3 people left as they're sliding through. This is definitely going to get crazy, though, as the circle closes. We saw what happened last round. It really puts a timer on the entire thing. AD Astral, though, in a great spot to try to get a kill into Next. This is actually going to be so fun to watch. Next versus Astral. Next is trying to get away from the storm just to get a second of time, but Astral's following up. Both players are going to definitely take tick damage. Next needs to follow it. Hits a beautiful shot onto Astral, who's at 30. Recovery going to help tick. Yeah, Next is certainly going to go for the Noodle here. 100%. I can see it. He's going to try to look as Astral's actually trying to get away here. Not sure what the motivation is. Recovery is stopping Astral from taking any significant damage. You can see her HP bar bounce down and up and down and up thanks to that rune. Not exactly sure what the thought process is here, to be honest with you, though. Next gets another kill, this time onto Styx's Calm, as Astral had looked to just reposition. But now it's looking like the end of it. We get a really good camera swap onto Next, so we can see his angle. Ooh, that would have been it right there if Astral could have hit that shot onto Next. But now they're going to have to go toe-to-toe. Recovery definitely making a massive difference for both of these players on the storm damage. Next, jumping up, does know he has Harmony, so he's fearless. Drops a circle of his own.
And there it goes.
Oh my goodness.
There it
Noodles
goes.
to the front. Next takes game 2 of the Frostborn Castle round. He's going to take the quick victory lap, make sure nobody's left, and he knows. It's been confirmed to him via voice chat. He is the champ. We're going to see him jump in the fracture. See you later, Next.
My favorite part. That was crazy.
Favorite part is when they jump in that fracture? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Best part. Hands down. It's crazy to see how many people actually chose Recovery, and I'm wondering if it's because of the placement on the map. And if they know it's going to close.
I'm almost certain that it was all because of Storm, because I didn't even realize. I knew Recovery was strong when you're running through Storm, but I didn't realize that you literally don't lose HP on the first tick. Like if it's a first tick Storm, I didn't realize that you don't lose HP.
Right, because you can't get back half or a percentage of 1, so you just get the 1 back.
Because it rounds up, I guess. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it looked like when I was watching Next and Astral, it wasn't actually doing major damage to the health bar thanks to Recovery. And we saw, again, the advantage of having Harmony. Next had no fear running into that CC, finishing off the kill. He had 9 kills, OP.
9.
He dropped a 9 bomb, and I think there was about 31 players in that lobby, so he killed almost 1/3 of the lobby. That is borderline disgusting, borderline illegal, and I'm not exactly sure how to process that. But we're going to see now. So the next game is the Sorcery Only. We went through it really briefly, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest with you. I mean, the score is based on damage placement, exiles, blah, 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 the usual. But the big spicy difference is that you can only deal damage, get kills, and activate your sorceries. If you use your left or right click, that is disallowed. You are not allowed to use basic attacks. All you can do is use your sorcery. I believe you can use your rune charges, though, for mobility, but as the runes don't do any damage, you know that all of your damage is stuck onto sorceries. I'm interested to hear what your take is on what they're going to run. I know some sorceries are stronger than others in terms of damage, but what is your initial opinion?
My initial opinion, I feel like there's going to be people who are going with either the DF route or the conduit route. If you look at Frostborn, it doesn't really do much but freeze you. Tempest doesn't really do much but suck you in, and then you can, if you have Tox or Fire sorceries, and you can mix those as well. Stone potentially for the quick damage, but more accurate damage maybe. But I'm going with DF. I think is what people will run.
Yeah, I think that's a great take. I also think the one that you kind of mentioned a little bit is the conduit route, because if these players, I think conduit's a late game build. If you're confident that you can get to that final situation, we all know how strong that sorcery is when it strikes 3 times. I believe that's one of the unlockable things for the conduit. So
yes,
once you can get to that point, it's a game changer. So if you think about a combination, let's just hypothetically say you take lightning, fire, offhand. If you get to end game with conduit, those are 2 massively
that's a lot of
games.
damage. Because I think it's 3 on top of the normal 1, so it'd be 4.
It's
and
3
and it's quick.
Yeah, they're quick, and
Super
the
quick.
thing that I was thinking is that they last for a long time, because firewalls and if you take a toxic sorcery, it's very instant, but you get a lot of area control if you take the lightning sorcery and the fire sorcery. But I've been proved wrong, I think, after every single damn event. So let's just see what the players decide.
We'll just see what they do, because we're not comp. We don't.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here to chat my mouth and not play any of these comp games because I get clapped.
Absolutely.
But regardless, do you have any predictions? I meant to ask on who you think will take this round. I know that it is kind of up in the air because it's hard to really predict a sorcery only round.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how they play. It's going to be, I know Zen is a big conduit player, so I'll be interested to watch him play, and Juklo as well. So, and he's actually using conduit right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think conduit's going to be massively popular. Just because what we were talking about earlier, the strength of it, if you think about it, not many of the classes get runes or abilities that really buff your sorcery directly. Stoneshaper is another one of them, but conduit is crucial for that. Toxicologist does buff your sorcery, but the larger AoE is really not that substantial when you compare it to the other benefits. Look at Juklo, though, getting pressed now as the sorcery battle unfolds. Teleport comes out. Beautiful usage of the rune. It looks like he might be fighting a non-tournament player because he is getting slapped with the toxic. He is getting helped out, though, by another player with the sorceries. Look at the kites. Juklo doing a good job of keeping him alive. It looks like maybe the end here. Unfortunate. If he can try to peel away, he is getting a bit of a turn from another opponent rolling in. Juklo just barely getting away with this one. 25 HP, recovery going to help him tick. Sees the teleport come in, jumps into the top side. Ooh, that might be the end of it.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, this is unlucky, unless he can get away with it. One more chance to get a sorcery off. I think if I was him, I would just break code and probably just start slamming this guy. But this just shows you how virtuous this man is. Juklo is never going to break the rules, even if it costs him his own life. Running this one away. Nice turn. Gets another sorcery off. Caitlyn Uwu gets the kill. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot blame this player for not knowing the rules. Please, 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 please do not make any comments or witch hunts to any players who are not involved in our events. They do not know what is going on. It is not their fault that they don't know it's sorcery only. Just an unfortunate coincidence. So Juklo will go down in that round, but remember, it's all for charity. There is no real huge loss there. Juklo just gets a bit of a slap to the face. Zayaf does get a bit of redemption, taking down the player with a kill of his own with the boulder, but Malachi now in a bit of a dance off with this other player.
Something I think it's cool about this sorcery is that it doesn't matter what rarity gauntlet you have, because it's all roughly the same cooldown, right?
Right. I actually just
it doesn't matter if you have common, it doesn't matter if you have legendary.
I think the cooldown is cut a little bit, but the damage is unchanged from what I know. But maybe somebody who is played a lot more hours on the comp side of it could confirm that, because I'm not 100% sure. I think you're right, though. There's no.
I know the damage is not changed.
Yeah, the damage is unchanged, so it doesn't matter as much, but the cooldowns could be pretty crucial in this round especially, because it's like, that difference is just like the major turning point.
Especially with double boulders, if you're running stone, or really any of them, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Again, though, I'm just processing what we just saw. Juklo didn't shoot a single attack. He just let that happen, stayed true to the sorcery only round. I got to give a massive shout out to him one more time as we see Malachi. This is cool, though. He's actually going with the Tempest option. Look at these guys.
Very strange.
It's so funny watching this. I don't know if I agree with the Tempest at all. I think that's probably the worst option you could have gone with. Look how hard it is.
Unless he's trying to do the DF NATO with, I don't know. Not DF, but the Tox NATOs.
This is really just like a handshake.
He does have Spellslinger, though, so he does have Stone in the pocket.
I do really, really, really like that idea of having Spellslinger, because I think that the way that this is going to work, and we are watching it right now, is that there's a lot of just jockeying for position, because players know that you can't get bursted. It's just sorceries, but you could really pull a fast one on somebody by making them think, okay, this guy's running X build, but then he pulls a stone out of his pocket, you start playing too far up, and he just boulders you in the face.
Boulders you. Yep.
Could be a huge difference. I know from my experience of watching comp, it's an underrated aspect of it is getting somebody by surprise. You think that it's all going to be mechanics, but making somebody play a certain way really can change a fight, just making them uncomfortable. Yeah, we're switching out of this fight. Good call from Doctor. It was fun to watch a little bit of jostling, but I really think both of those players took suboptimal builds. Cactus Lord, though, see what he's got. So Firewall on both of these players. Looks like he's going to be throwing it down. Pyro is a class I didn't even think of. Pyro actually puts a significant amount of power on your Firewall.
It does, with Paralysis. If you can land that Pyro wall, it's going to deal. He's also running Spellslinger, but rune swapping with Chrono and Feather.
That's really interesting. I don't know if I like the Featherfall option. You know, Featherfall gets dumpstered by Lightning Sorcery. It's really just not ideal. Chronomaster, though, is an interesting take, because as we all know, it's way harder to get consistent damage down with just sorcery damage. So having that on a low cooldown could actually be super massive. Didn't even think about Chrono. It's always a
Chrono is actually a very good idea.
Yeah, it's so cool. I can't stress it enough how cool it is to see these players try to make and adapt new builds for all these weird game modes. I think it's really interesting because you can see like the difference of thought with these players. The way that they stray, the way that they view the game is fundamentally different. And you can see that in the way that they try to construct their builds. Cactus Lord looking to get on the front now, looking to not waste the sorcery as we see more and more damage come through. Cactus in a bit of trouble, but as we know, it's very hard to actually get punished in this game mode.
It is. I mean,
I love that. You just see them run by them.
Just run right past each other. They can't do anything.
Full mana, like I've never seen this type of thing coming through here.
Oh man. And go back to the build. I mean, he's running Chrono with Fortitude and Recovery. So if he takes any damage, he can just wipe it all away basically, because it's very easy to tell when damage is coming to you.
100%, and that's actually such a great point, is that Chrono, part of the strength of Chrono is being able to, like you said, predict when the damage is going to come, and there's nothing more telegraphed than a sorcery. That is a fantastic point from the first time cast with Opie. Let me get a round of applause in the chat right now. This man is killing it. As we get through here, Cactus Lord looking to get on the backside, drops a Firewall, but doesn't actually get the damage, unfortunately enough. Does take a massive Firewall
burst. Did he get that Chrono off in time? He did, but
yeah, you see,
he's going to land right back in it, though.
What we're saying is that
I'm kind of confused why he didn't back up and heal before because he's got 2 shards in his pocket.
He has 2 shards, and he also has Fortitude, so it's not like he's in any rush to pick these fights, right? Like, it's almost a benefit for him to wait.
Yeah.
I definitely do agree with Stoneshaper. I think that could be so deadly. Just having the 2 boulders, you're essentially just doubling your sorcery count, which is all that matters for this round. He is fighting another player with Chrono, so this is like watching a middle school dance. Both players are just going to fight up against the wall. Nobody's going to come into the middle and actually scrap. It's just going to be a nice little awkward dance on the edge. Chaperones watching, parents trying to get involved. It's not happening out here.
It's not happening. It's super awkward. And going back to his rebuild, just survivability, he's also on Stoneshaper, which I didn't notice at first. I thought he was on Pyro. So he's got Stoneshaper, Stone Skin, Fortitude, Recovery, and Chrono.
This man is unkillable.
Constant.
I do think this is the way to go with this build, though. Like, we knew going into this that it was going to be way harder to get consistent damage, but I didn't think it was going to be this fragmented. Cactus Sword, as you can see, we've been watching this fight for about 2 minutes. Neither player has actually had significant cuts into their HP bars. Maybe we bounce around because, as we were saying with that analogy with the dance, it doesn't look like much is going to happen here.
Yeah, I think this whole time he's lost maybe 20 health.
Yeah, easily. And as he still hasn't drank, that's his first potion. We're just watching him drink right now. So this is another fight. Interesting new take. We got Tristan. So he's doing the conduit with the stone in the pocket for the sorcery damage. This is definitely one of the high burst combos, I think. Like, if you can stick somebody with that sorcery with the lightning, you can immediately follow it up with a big damage
absolutely
boulder slam. So Tristan probably has the right idea here. Also, something to note is the reliability of the sorcery. We were talking before the game about the differences between taking the stone or taking the fire for firewall, but stone I think is a lot more consistent. Like, it's way easier to be proactive with the stone sorcery than it is to be proactive with firewall.
It is. I mean, you can hit people in the air. You can if you've got two, you've got one over here, you pop them off in the air. It's the air shots instead of just everybody being on the ground. With every other sorcery, minus conduit, I would say. Conduit can hit them in the air, but it's a little bit more difficult. They have to be in that zone. With stone, you can just fire them off.
I think that's also why we were both giving so much credit to Conduit as a powerful class, is because of, like you said, it gives you that variability on levels. You don't have to worry about sticking somebody. But as we talk about sticking somebody, Timmy is in a lot of trouble. Takes a dash rune over this top side. It is legendary rarity. He does have runic fluency, so his cooldown is minimal right now. It's about 3 seconds on each dash.
That is so
but his
fast.
opponent is trailing him so close. He's getting up inside of the tree, throws on the firewall. As you notice, he is on the pyro, so as we see it, takes a quick fire wall. Nice dance coming out from Timmy. Actually getting away from that, but no potions to think of. AD Astro gets a kill onto Staff, has 5G, and we're down to 22 people. This game is going way slower than the earlier rounds, though, for good reason.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And we see a nice deep shot from Styx, so this is another
really
take on the build.
For one of those.
Going for Flight. This is interesting, but this is something we didn't talk about yet. Flight is very common with players who are maybe new to the game because it does allow you for good sorcery usage. It opens up a lot of windows to use your sorcery, like we see here with Styx, reposition yourself, cooldowns off, and I think it could be a huge advantage for this type of game mode. We talked about Conduit, we talked about Chrono already, we talked about Dash Ring with the low cooldown having that advantage, but I don't think we've discussed Flight and Teleport and just like the massive mobility and how that can help you in this.
Right. It is also interesting that he's using Spellslinger, but has it all full with healing abilities.
That is interesting.
He's not,
it's just like
not switching anything.
I think he likes the mean builds. He likes to throw it up, get it spicy in here. As he drops another charge, nice burn, but the tornado is going to pull him in just ever so slightly. And we see that it looks like his opponent has kind of peeled off. I think he accidentally hits the M1 right there. Throws down another sorcery. But this is just what we're going to see is a lot of this type of jockeying. I think we're also going to see 700,000 AoEs in the final circle with like 20 people all pushing. So
crashing the game for sure.
Yeah, 100% going to be crazy. Styx takes another quick cancel on the animation. This could be very promising, actually. I think this player is quite low. Definitely low.
Yep.
Styx might get an opportunity to break here. Eats a huge cloud to the face. Corrosion going to stick with 2. Now he sees that his opponent in front of him does have a dash rune. Nobody has died since we made our last call, so we're still stuck at 22.
Zin just sitting in the air.
Yeah, this is what he was known for back in the day with sorcery sitting with Conduit. He's whipped it back out a little bit. Look at the damage that comes down as Styx eats 2 separate AoE sorceries, bringing himself back down to 90 HP. Armor does get chugged for a quick tick as he slides up. Flight Rune burned as well, shocking himself almost as he looks to line up his boulder. Maybe we could switch over to another perspective as we see all sorts of fights coming through. Megaverse, again, this looks like a popular setup right here. So it's the Conduit with the stone in the offhand for that boulder sorcery. Ilya Shich gets a kill onto Ziap, has Wi-Fi, and we see more and more action unfold. Megaverse again landing on the stairs, getting a bit of momentum to carry him forward. Scav is the choice on his rune, so I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think that you can reliably enough secure kills for that to really be something you want. I think Scav, like in an ideal world, Scav is at its strongest point when you are able to maneuver around your kill so you can knock it third party. Megaverse, as we saw, almost gets a kill right there. So close.
Yeah, he gets the double tap on that lightning sword.
Yeah,
I think what's interesting is the people not using, they're using Spellslinger for the cooldown, but not actually using it for the true skill that it has.
Right. So they just want the sorcery cooldown flat. They don't care about actually switching things in and out. Something I've seen from Megaverse consistently through all the events and scrims I've seen him play is he loves Spring Step. I think it's the most played.
Spring Step is decently hard to hit nowadays. I don't know what it is, but it could just be me. But it's been difficult to hit people as a pyro with Spring Step. So I would see that being cool in a sorcery one, where you can just hop over walls or hop over clouds or not conduit.
I think as well with Spring Step is once you get a lot of practice on it, like we're watching Megaverse right now, is he kind of learns when to use it. And that sounds very silly, but there is momentum carrying with it, because it completely cuts when you're falling down. It obviously immediately cuts that momentum, shoots you right back up, and it can really throw off another player. Because as you were kind of talking about, you're playing Pyro, let's say, you're trying to lead a fireball, but the dude just pops up off the bounce.
Right
now
over
he's
it.
on top of your forehead. Like it's tough. But speaking of tough, look at the lobby. 17 people. Are you serious?
This is insane. There's 17 people. Look at all of the AoE and just the nonsense.
This is just damage everywhere. We see the potential for Conduit as Megaverse gets a quick 40 damage. You know, we were talking about earlier with the power of Chronomaster. I don't know if it even could do anything in this. It's just insane.
It's
Look
crazy.
at the AoE. Everybody, like you said too, running Spellslinger, so their cooldowns are quite low with the sorceries. Danger Pony gets the kill onto King Kaizen as people are throwing it out.
Look at it all. This is
just... This is the best way we could have possibly ended Spellbreak before a downtime. This is hilarious as we keep seeing more and more throws come through.
Holy cow.
Black Lotus does get a kill with the firewall.
14 still in.
14? Are you serious?
13 now. This is it's gonna end with lightning strikes. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
The circle's only gonna get so small. There's enough people with conduit. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be that and then one big DF that kills like 9 people. Black Lotus goes down right there to something I didn't even see. It's just people throwing out sorceries and randomly getting credited with kills as we see Megaverse get one down. 80 Astral kills.
And he's back to full HP, which is huge.
Oh, that is huge. I didn't think
He's
the
back
power
to.
of Scav.
He's thinking late game, which is kind of interesting.
That is very interesting, and we talked about Conduit being so good late game too, and he looks to be taking advantage of that as more boulders come through. Spring Step making all of the difference here. Look at, also I want to give credit to everybody's discipline. Nobody has shot a single regular ability. I gotta give a huge shout out to these players. After months of playing with their certain abilities and using the same skills, they've managed to get away with this one. Nobody using any sort of cheap tactics. Like Megaverse keeps on bouncing, and this is where Conduit's gonna dominate. There is nowhere to go but eat those to the face as the shocks come through. This is a jostle for position. Look at this.
That is crazy.
Yo,
no!
Scavenger might actually make a huge difference.
There he goes.
Megaverse gets a huge chunk of HP and he takes.
There he goes. There he goes. That was next level. I did not think that that Scav would be a good option because you couldn't secure enough kills. But that was late game. That was huge.
Yeah, that's a really great point. We talked before. Again, this happened. Is this a recurring theme, OP? We make a call, we make a prediction, and it's just absolutely
it's just wrong. It's just wrong. You shouldn't do it.
But anyway,
we say something, don't listen to us.
Yeah, exactly. Take what we say, go the opposite. So you that's how you can gauge it. But regardless, Megaverse, we did see the huge difference that Scav made. I'm watching it again on replay, full HP with 3 people left after all of that madness. And I cannot say it enough. Madness. That was unbelievable. No way to dodge. Forget about your mechanics. I don't care how good you are at the game. Put your goddamn sorcery down and duck, dive, and dodge, baby.
Yeah, just get away.
There is no such thing as outplays, but we still see a beautiful game. And we are getting into the final event before the Encore, which is probably the one I'm most hyped for. It's the Noodle Arena.
I'm excited. This is one of the game modes that I think actually spawned from an early competitive tournament. I don't remember if you remember, but there was like one person that wasn't in the tournament, and the entire group, maybe it was scrims or something, the entire group went after the one person with noodles. And then at that point, then we started having like noodle wars in the arena, which is kind of an interesting way, and now we're here.
We have OP, the Spellbreak historian, whipping it out. That is completely correct. It was the first time there was these Noodle Arenas, was like you said, a random player jumped in and was kind of griefing the lobby on streamer mode.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody teamed up with the Noodles, and thus a tradition was born. There was no better way to send off Spellbreak before downtime than to run a Noodle Arena. So just for anybody who may be newer to the community or not aware of exactly what goes on in this Noodle Arena, everybody drops in the same spot, that being Arena of Elders, I believe is the name, Arena of Elders. Yes, I know my lore. So everybody lands inside of that arena. We wait till until that timer ticks down, just like the other games, just like Stoneshaper Maze, just like Frostborn, except this time you can only use that backhand, OP. That's the only tool you have. No weapon. Disrespect. Just disrespect. That's literally all you got. So that'll be Noodle Arena. And again, it'll be 2 rounds for everybody, calculated according to damage and score. Do you think, OP, I know you've had some practice on the Noodle Arena. I faced you in the Noodle Arena some time ago with Trammy and Merlin and all of those gentlemen. Do you think you could hop in this game, hypothetically, and take a W?
No. Couldn't happen. No, couldn't happen. I am way too AoE focused. I know I complain about AoE all the time in this game, but I am way too AoE focused. I cannot hit noodles at all. My whole thing was back then it was like there were 12 classes, right? So you could do like Bulwark and Pyro and get not Fervor. What was the Manivore? You could get Manivore on Bulwark and some other things, but back then we would wait for the circle to go and it would be a random talent. So that's when I played. It was back then. You might get Manivore, you might get the Vital Stone proc, but you might not. So it was an interesting time, but I could not take a W in this. No, absolutely not.
I do know as well that some of the people who play a lot of scrims and a lot of comp, they actually do these Noodle Arenas like all the time at the end of a scrim just for fun. You know, it's like, I don't know how many people are left. Let's just all hop in the Noodle Arena. So they have some good practice. And it actually does. People think, oh my God, Noodle Arena, I just noodled this noob, blah, blah, blah. It's not easy to land 10 consecutive noodles.
No.
The projectile is tiny. It has a deceptive drop to it too. It's not just a beam. It is a literal noodle. You are throwing a spaghetti at somebody and you're hoping to God that it connects. But
and if you actually look at it, it like wiggles too. So it's like, where does it actually go? I don't know.
Also, shout out to the Proletariat Designers. One of my favorite icons in the game is that open hand when you kill somebody with the noodle, and it's just it's just the 5 fingers of death in the middle of the kill. You got smacked, man. It's just humiliating to see. But anyway, we're gonna see a lot of humiliation. This guy is obviously not aware of this lobby. Shout out to HG Tony. I wish you the best of luck in this game. But we are right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the go. I'm sorry, Opie, take it away.
It almost looks like the red tripwires in movies. You have to kind of like jump over and like slide under. It's just Mission Impossible style, exactly. It's just madness. The Vital Stone.
Oh my God, it certainly is madness. Look at the tracking. People are taking Vital Stone. There is golden pop everywhere. As we see Asia's face get a kill onto Juklo. Everybody is so low. Wyatt gets slapped. Windblower 05 finishes it off. Megaverse for the win with an open hand as well. And now we see Windblower himself with that first-person perspective.
It's interesting because Windblower wasn't in the Olympics, was he? Until we ran into him earlier.
No, I believe he actually was just late. I think he just was late to the first event, unfortunately enough. But that was a good call, a good notice. Black Lotus taking Scavenger. He is big and beefy, untouched right now. Look at the open hand.
Not a bad play.
Keep the camera on Black Lotus as he just goes in for it right now. Slaps to slaps to slaps. Megaverse gets a drop on a Drasticon, and now there's just a small little... Bina is going in right now. This is a small group left.
I think he you said earlier, you can't hit 10 in a row. I think he hit 10 in a row and then missed one and then hit another one.
Yeah, these players are showing off the aim for sure, as Black Lotus is definitely going to go down, and we're going to see a 1v1 in the Noodle Arena, I believe. Look at Croza. Look at the movement. Look at the movement. Look at the happy feet.
Ducking it.
Yeah, he's definitely shifting to the left and right. There's also an opponent sitting on the backside with a bit of a cheeky third party within one tiny noodle. Kroza with a quick lag. Love to see it as he turns around the side. This is the Kovacs work, though. Look at that turn and aim. Kroza is nobody to be messed with out here. Scavenger is definitely a huge advantage in this arena. Look at the way these people are fighting it down. This is my favorite part, is when it slowly gets sweaty. We are literally noodling, and there's still a very, very intense level of perspiration in this game, and you love to see it. Wow. As we have a 1v1, Kroza's full HP off the Scav. I'm shocked at how good this movement is, though. I'm like really impressed with how fancy.
It's like he does this often, you know? It's like this is what Kroza does. He just plays noodles.
It's like, oh, you guys are playing scrims? Yeah, no, I'll be there in a minute. I gotta go noodle. This is disrespectful. I'm done. No.
My God.
Kroza, you can't do him like this. He's this confident. Looks like they've made a bit of a truce as they run it through.
No, he picked up a second gauntlet on accident.
Oh, no.
Unfortunate.
I didn't even realize that. No, Kroza accidentally
so
pressed
unfortunate.
the F key.
Dang.
Oh no! So that'll be OnlyFans Muffin taking the W.
And he was doing so well too.
That is the most tragic way I could ever imagine a Noodle Arena ending. Kroza. Oh, and then Jake. No, that is the most tragic. It just switched to caster cam, so you missed it. But another player jumped in, I believe, and got the kill onto Muffin, who was not a part of the tournament. So that'll be a natural conclusion to the first Noodle Arena. We are gonna run it back into one more round of the Noodle Arena. And then we're going to do a encore round where the players get to vote over which game mode they want to play one more time. That was very exciting, though, OP, I must say.
That was very cool. It's cool to see like who goes the sustain route and who goes the damage route. And like it's either I'm going to build my entire noodle build off of damage, or I'm just going to try to survive as long as possible.
100%. And it was cool to see because it almost felt like that decision to either go with an aggressive build or a defensive build has been the theme of all of these mini games. Like we saw it in the no belt round. There were some players who decided to go Stoneshaper and still just get that 20 armor that they could. And then there's people who said, F it, I'm gonna go recklessness, focus mana, and I'm here to one.
I'm gonna go in on these kids.
Exactly. And we saw that in every round actually. So it's such a cool way to view these games. I did not expect in this Olympics to have such an in-depth way to look at these games. It's been fantastic. And even more fantastic is the supportive money we have raised for the Save the Children Coronavirus Response Fund. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. We can't say it enough how much we appreciate the Spellbreak community. We are going to genuinely miss you guys when this game goes down for a bit, but it's all for the best, as this game is going to be coming out hotter than ever when we get back to it. But speaking of hot, we got one more round of Noodle Arena, maybe more depending on how the Encore vote goes. Any predictions on what to see in the second round here, OP?
I really hope to see Kroza not pick up another gauntlet. That was just hard. It was sad. It was heartbreaking. He was doing so well, and then just I guess he walked over, accidentally hit his F key, and F key for that. You know, it's just
F key for that.
It was heartbreaking. So I just hope he does pretty well.
That was a pretty good one, man. You're picking up on it real fast out here as it whips it out on that F key, but that is very tragic. You could literally see the processes in Kroza's brain as he's trying to find a way to drop it. He's like picking up other gauntlets, like it's gonna just work. Like that's not how it goes, man. It doesn't work. But here we are. We got about 25 to 30 more seconds until it starts. The name is Devin says, I would go Tempest. That is a very cool take, Devin, because that is what OP and I were talking about before. Squall, I mean, the issue, though, is that if you do spam the wind, right? And we saw how chaotic it is. But if you hit somebody with your wind jump by accident, you're a dirty cheater. So
you're a dirty cheater. Yeah, get out.
It's very tough. It's a cool idea, but it's hard to execute without kind of breaking, the unwritten rules here.
It would almost be like a late game thing when there's less people around.
Like we saw there when there was 4 people, they actually do space out quite a bit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm certainly excited to see that again. Hopefully we can bounce over quickly. It is unfortunate because we have to cycle through people who are not tournament players, but we're going to see the very start of the noodles. We saw it there. It is just shocking how much we see people throwing it out. I saw a funny message in chat that I wanted to read out. Tron Volta says, it looks like an 80s background. Oh, no, he's talking about your background. I thought he was talking about all the lights in the noodles, but in fact, he's actually putting Opie on the burner. Sorry for going back and reading that one out, Opie. That's my bad.
That's totally fine. I love Winston. It's all good.
That is my bad, but we're getting over. It does look like an 80s 80s background with just the Noodle Arena when we saw the start and all the little lights and flashing follows. But here it is. Breadman has LTE posted in the corner. Switch to another angle. Quickly. I got to see the chaos. Quickly bounce this over. This is the unfortunate part. Is trying to find ourselves back.
All these people that aren't even in it.
So many people.
No. So many people.
Let's see Timmy. See him whip it out. It looks like he's already been vital though, but now we're going to get a good angle because after every death it keeps you in the box, so we're good now. We're going to chill here as Logic gets the kill onto Timmy. We only missed about 2 kills and there's plenty of chaos to be had. Styx' Calm gets to drop onto Novon and we see the Noodles come out. Scavenger is definitely going to be more popular on this one as we see Logic whipping it. Breadman has LTE, finishes a kill. Beans goes down to Juco quite early. We see more and more action unfold. Logic with a nice flick onto Zen860. Spots out another person camping off the side of Megaverse for the win. Gets a kill onto Juco as well. All sorts of action unfolding.
Logic with the Kovac.
See it. Logic definitely doing an amazing turnaround round here. I think Logic actually has a very underrated stance on these games. He's been doing so well in a lot of these events. I think he could sneak up and get a podium placement as he's just showing off here. So to note what Devin said earlier, Logic actually did go with the Tempest too, so he's taken that advice. But Megaverse is also on the come up. 2 kills, 1 onto Breadman, 1 onto Zayaf. As Drasticon finishes Logic's run for the money and takes over on his own. Slaps coming out now. Drasticon taking some pretty brutal misses, but sees Megaverse pressing him into the corner. This is such a cool thing with Noodle Arena, is that because nobody has a response gauntlet, literally you can bully somebody. Like, look at how Megaverse is bullying Drasticon into a corner. You can, like, sheep. You can herd people into areas. And Drasticon will go down. Megaverse off to a hot start. Really well practiced.
Mega with 6.
Yeah, Mega has a ton of kills. As he sees he's trying to get another. Beautiful slaps. King Kaizen goes down. That is 7 for Megaverse. As we see more and more of it unfold. Somebody kind of hiding off to the side, doesn't want any of this action. It looks like they both are identifying the threat, but now they're turning on each other. Megaverse does get hit from the backside. Somebody must have been hiding.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
He's going the Scav route again.
Yeah, Scav is like a game changer for this, right? Because I mean, it really there is no other way to get sustain. As look at them. Look at
and if you can secure the kills, then he's going on Stone as well, so that means he gets the 20.
But I actually really like this idea of the Scav because it adds like a lot of skill expression. If you can be the one to secure the kills, look at these two, still pretty full HP. This is going to be a scrap for the ages. This is the last Noodle Arena of day 1, and it's coming down to the last turns. Look at them try to crouch out of the way of the Noodles. Megaverse through the window, not missing. Look at him use that. This is exactly what I love to see. Look at Megaverse using the terrain.
He hops right back out though.
This is such a cool. This is actually so much more technical than I thought out of a Noodle Arena. They are playing this.
They're
like
both so even.
Go. Look at the flick.
So get some sticks.
Goes down, and that is gonna be the end of the second Noodle Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. We do have one more Encore round, so players are gonna be able to vote for what they want to play. We're gonna do a salty run back on one of the 6 events. But that vote will just take a minute, and we need a second to reflect on the Noodles that we just saw get slung around there, OP. Again, a huge performance due to Scav. It was a major difference maker in this game. We saw Megaverse really just bully that entire lobby. Is there any other thoughts you had about that game going in, OP?
Going in, no, I like that he stuck with his Sorcery Only build and went the Scav Recov. I think that's, if you can secure the kills on the Noodle, then you're gonna be fine. Because you can just pop right back up to full. And since it takes so long to get you back down, I think you're fine.
It's a really cool thing as well with Scav, just the interaction with this Noodle Arena. I know it's funny saying interaction because we're talking about a damn Noodle Arena, but nonetheless, because players end up so low and everybody can only deal an equal amount of damage, it's about a 10 to 12 range depending on your runes. So if you take Scav, and we saw Megaverse get a couple right there, he just secures a slap out of nowhere. You know, he's just dealing damage and then he just gets a kill. And that's 40 effective HP. Like, it's huge.
Gets it all back every time.
It is huge. So we're going to have to just burn a bit of time here. They are going to do an Encore vote. It looks like they're in the process of voting. And you know what, OP? Sorcery Only round won by a long shot.
I was hoping.
That's what you were hoping for?
I was hoping. I did at the beginning. I didn't think so. Then once we saw it happen, I'm very glad that it happened. I'm very glad that's the one that won.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, that sorcery round was probably the most unique, honestly, out of all of them. It felt like I was the farthest away from playing Spellbreak or watching Spellbreak.
Absolutely.
Felt like I was like
new.
watching Animal Crossing online. Almost like that.
Animal Crossing
Yeah,
online.
like they're just.
It was very new. It was a very different feeling for sure.
It was, and we're gonna have to see it again because we are salty running it back. Shout out to Doctor for that production, throwing up a Discord message onto the chat. That was all done within a quick second. Doctor figured this all out. Shout out to him for his production work, and we're gonna get into the work with the sorcery only round again. For anybody who missed out on the round and wants to get a refresher on the rules, I got you. So for this, as it's probably implied, you can only use your sorceries. Basic spells are not allowed. You are not allowed to touch your basic attacks. Everything has to come through sorceries. You're allowed to use runes, you're allowed to use belts, you're allowed to use potions, and all the rest of it. Just the one kicker is you cannot use the actual attacks that are intended to kill. You have to use your utility sorceries to secure that damage. And we're going to see who takes it. Do you expect to see them win again? I mean, I think it's like a random game almost.
I agree. I'm interested to see how Juclo comes out of it because we saw in the last game that Conduit is one that won, and Juclo was actually running Conduit. I don't know if I'm most likely he'll probably take the same thing, but I'm interested to see. What's cool about this is one-on-ones, there's like no damage trade, right, in an open area. But once you get tight, it's almost more chaotic than normal fighting. It's definitely more chaotic, but in open 1v1s, it's less chaotic. It's kind of crazy to see that.
That's such a good observation, and we saw that in game one. Like at the start, remember with the Chrono situation, those people were fighting for probably 3 minutes, and nobody actually had any damage stick. So it is a very high scaling game mode. Also, a thing to note is a lot of the classes that these players are selecting, mostly namely Conduit, the real power in the class and sorcery comes after second circle, third circle, pyro as well. So it's a testament to the point you're making that this is really one of those game modes that it's a lull for the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then it just gets into chaos.
And all hell breaks loose.
Very excited to see this run back. I'm not gonna lie to you though, man. This was probably one of the last I expected to win the Encore.
Same. Before we watched it happen, I would say the same thing.
I love your mom, 56, going for a kill at the front side.
56.
Doesn't get it, though. Couldn't get the name without the numbers. I'm sure it's a popular username. Very creative and clever. Awesome for him, as Malachi Senpai misses a very easy drop, but he's going to have to try to make up for it now as he gets the turn. He has a really great Frost Golem. He can
walks right into it.
Yeah, unlucky right there. So he tries to get it. It was confirmed through the chat earlier, by the way, OP, that Jesse said the gauntlets and the gauntlet rarity does not even affect the cooldown of sorcery. Wow, so there really is no.
So there's no point. Yeah, there's no point in even upgrading them.
Yeah, the only thing you're getting out of chests is item loot and scrolls. That's all that's relevant because the gauntlet rarity literally makes no difference. But I mean, I'm sure players just based off muscle memory will always be looting a rarity gauntlet just because it looks pretty on your wrist. Good. Get the nice. Look at this. You can't do anything.
You can't do anything. Oh, they're just standing there.
What are we?
Oh
what are
my
we
word!
What is going on, man?
That was really, really funny.
Like sumo wrestling. They're trying to jostle each other out of the way so they can read the scroll. Malachi Senpai actually the one who ends up getting it. He's taking Finders Keepers. Finders Keepers. Very, very interesting.
That is interesting.
Don't know if I agree.
Maybe he just didn't get the scrolls last game. I'm not sure.
I think Fortitude, though, like, I'm going to be honest, I think Fortitude is highly overrated in the sorcery only. Because we saw, like, at the end of the game, there's nothing you can do. You are going to get hit by some sort of AoE.
Yeah.
There's no point. And there's very good options, I feel, on that second rune for this type of sorcery only round. But Scavenger being namely the most important. Dexterity could actually make a huge difference. Oh! I love your ball. 56 goes down. Timmy getting a nice strike. Getting the kill. Nice Focused mana selected for Timmy. Don't know if I agree with that one. Unless, do you know if that increases damage for
sorcery? It does not. It does not.
Huh. So Timmy may be selecting the wrong talents by accident. Unfortunate right there. Probably not advised. King Kaizen once again going with his Tempest build and the swap too. So interesting from him. Maybe he expects mobility to be the most important factor going into this game. But anyway, Black Lotus as well, choosing a very unorthodox build with the Harmony and that Scavenger, unorthodox but effective from what we've seen.
I feel like that's the same build that Mega was using, right? With the Harmony included.
Yeah.
He was using Spellslinger, right?
I think so. I think they kind of mirrored the way that they put this build out. I mean, Black Lotus is also the man that we saw earlier with the Chrono, so he's doing that again. I think he really saw the potential for Chrono in this round, like we did. Like, you can really avoid a lot of damage. It's easy to predict when it's going to come down. It's all tracked on very long cooldowns as well. Not a great selection coming out here, Black Lotus, as he gets turned around. Chrono Conduit does have so much potential to just avoid damage. You can continuously burn this cooldown with very little fear. So we see right there an example of it. Black Lotus takes the cooldown, immediately shifts into Chrono, and drops a rune charge of his own to reset. Not getting too much done with this, though. He's going to have to try to peel off. This looks like a prime third-party situation. This is there it is. This is exactly when we see third parties come down.
Great firewall.
Yeah, that was a good firewall. And I think, though, that...
Go right back into it.
Yeah, unlucky. I think, though, with firewall, like a big part of firewall and its effectiveness is the fact that it blocks frost and toxic. And that's completely irrelevant in this game mode.
It's very irrelevant.
If anything, it doesn't give you any defense because somebody can just throw a toxic cloud at a firewall, and if you're anywhere close, you take damage.
It's interesting that he just like saw the firewall, rocked right through it. It doesn't do enough damage. He's just like, it's a firewall, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I got scav, man. I'm gonna get a.
It's all good.
I don't care. I definitely do love watching these players just run by each other, like because they both have cooldowns.
Yeah.
It's like they literally just like run right by each other. So now Black Lotus does spot a hollow skin. Gonna try to capitalize. 31. Have we seen a single kill? Is there 31 people still in this game? No kill?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any. Timmy got one earlier.
Oh yeah, Timmy got a nice kill actually. A very clean kill onto I Love Your Mom 56. So nice drop from him right there. Taking out definitely a gentleman of the game. I'm sure that guy's a great member of the community. I Love Your Mom 56. I'm just gonna make the assumption right there as we see OnlyFans Muffin turning around to the side here. Upstanding with that dexterity, trying to make the most out of the selection he's got here. Spellslinger again selected for obvious reasons. Sorcery cooldown being the most important. And you see OnlyFans Muffin trying to get a turn here. Your friend Beans, aka Emma, threw
it's an interesting because Fervor does not affect any sorceries. So it's an interesting choice.
I mean, I hope by interesting you mean bad, but yeah, I think it is definitely
I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to make sense of it, and I don't see it.
I think maybe misconstrued recklessness, because I don't think recklessness gives sorcery damage.
It doesn't. I think she's just running her normal builds all day.
Probably just accidentally readied up, decided to go pyro.
Yeah.
Who knows? And there is something.
This is her normal build.
And it is something to mention in these tournaments because of the way that our structure is set up with the doing public lobbies and trying to just do the best we can. If you get into the lobby and then you realize that your build is not right, you can't go back and change it because the timer has already started. So you can't, and you don't want to miss the lobby. You don't want to be the person that makes people re-queue. So everyone is very polite in this community and generally just takes it. So it looks like Emma did that type of thing, maybe accidentally took a non-sorcery build. But regardless, we see Logic running a sorcery build, turning the far side now, taking the flight rune just to burn a cooldown. But there's people everywhere, OP. 29.
Although Logic is also using the Fervor.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something we don't know.
Maybe chat can help us out, but I don't see there being any reason because I think it's only cast speed.
I thought so too, and there is no like passive on it. There's no active other than cast speed. It's really a straightforward rune ability. But look at this jump. Logic just getting face slammed by what I think is AD Astral. Logic really, really unfortunate selection on the sorceries. Toxic Cloud I think is probably the weakest for the situation, and now he's actually just getting disrespected. That is awful. As Logic just takes more and more damage to the face. Flight rune is going to make a big difference in getting away with this one. Logic might be safe thanks to the selection there, but
switcheroo.
I don't know.
That would be so hard not to slap.
Yeah,
that's something like that.
I mean, I gotta give a big shout out to the discipline of these players. I don't think I could also run this type of discipline to just to avoid taking that shot, that satisfying shot to the face.
I'd have to rebind my keys.
Respectful. And look at this now. Ilyasich gets a kill onto another player with what I think is the boulder as Logic looks to back kite. Nice turns, but needs to be a bit more safe with that sorcery drop. I think this is the type of game mode that really shows people who perform well under pressure because you have so little consistent damage. When your cooldown comes up, you have one shot to make a good land. And Logic just accidentally just missed it just barely and might pay with his life for that mistake. As he looks to fly away, 9 seconds still left on the rune charge, but look at him just getting tailed right in the back. Okay. OP almost got a bit more YouTube content there. Could have been thrown that one up, and the fracture fails as Logic is getting very risky. It is Muffin, in fact, not Astral, who is the credited with the kill. We see Beans now getting into a bit of a scrap. I think the build that they're going with is probably the one I would go with as well. Maybe Conduit instead of Pyro, but that definitely the Lightning Fire sorceries are my go-to for this type of round, just because I feel like it's the easiest to get consistent damage with. I think they're the easiest to land back and back and back again in the final circle. Boulder is nice too for its defensive capability, but at the same time, I just think that the cooldown is long and it's not exactly giving you much control. You know,
unless you're playing inside Stoneshaper, where you have two of them. I can agree with that.
That's true, actually, because that makes a big difference. You're essentially it's like you have 3 gauntlets, because in this round, right, you only have sorcery. So it does make a big difference, as Novon is the one dancing through, drops a quick sorcery of his own, rune coming off cooldown now, throws in the Toxic, and we see a little bit of a change up. Getting a quick stop here, turning around and hoping that to the best that this doesn't continue. Looks like a little bit of a freeze on the Discord, and not going to see if Novon actually ended up finishing that kill, but we'll see exactly what happened. Hopefully nothing too serious of a crash or anything like that. Still waiting on the delay to register. Whoa, we're back? Maybe? Whoa, hopefully. We're going to make an assumption about the kill there. I'm going to guess that Novon did not finish the kill, considering the fact that you need to try to slam runes and sorceries only. Tough situation to be in. Not even sure if the audio is still plugged through here. May have just seen, hopefully, what is not a crash. I don't think it's a crash because it is still pushed through. But we will actually have to wait. A little bit of technical difficulty, it looks like, on the side of this Encore round. Glad that we could get through the rest of the progression here. Oh, sounds like a Discord crash. Confirm with me, is the stream still up? Or the people watching the game? That is all that matters, ladies and gentlemen. As long as you beautiful people can see what's happening, that's all that matters. OP and I will just have to talk quietly in the background and wait for this Discord to come back up. But until then, cast for yourselves in your head. Let's see the imagination that you guys can whip out here.
It is interesting to watch it on stream. We are behind, but
yeah, it's funny seeing this at the live delay. It's going to be weird for people because it's like doubled up delay, because we're delayed and then we're watching
delayed, and then now it's even delayed even further.
But something we can talk about, even with Discord down for the moment, is builds. Even though the gameplay may not correlate to the discussion we're having, you guys are going to have to just give us the pass on that one. It looks like Discord actually crashed for the servers, so it's debatable on when we're going to get this live stream back up. It's unfortunate. Technical difficulties beyond our comprehension. Of course, if Discord servers crash, I am not a board member at Discord, so I have no prior information about any of this stuff. But regardless, you guys can still see the game, and we'll just talk about builds and watch it as it comes up. We still see it come through. So some builds that we did see with Scavenger has been something that is not usually selected in like pub games or competitive matches. But in a lot of these nuanced game modes, Scav has been the difference maker.
It has been.
At the end of these. Oh, we can actually pop over to Skype screen share if we can get that slided. Let's see if that'll slot open. But until that happens, we will keep this discussion alive. Watching it through the delay, it does look like more fights are coming down. Fire and Lightning has been more popular, and it is live again. We can see it on Skype. So Rosa is the one picking this fight, throwing down the Lightning. Also, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with us through these technical difficulties. It's unfortunate that Discord crashed, but we're going to keep on rocking as Croza takes a quick dash rune over the side of the hill now, keeping himself completely safe. Definitely what I was saying was this selection of Lightning Fire would probably be the best, in my opinion, for the end game that you've been watching. It gives you a nice little bit of defense with the ability to drop the Lightning Sorcery and use your Rune Charge again because of Conduit. We see Croza taking full advantage of that in this situation, dropping yet another charge. His cooldowns are so low with the stack Spellslinger right now.
Something I think that is very interesting is if you take fire and someone throws a Toxicot on top of your fire, that's your damage. It's not going to be their DF damage because you have the fire. So I think that's a cool aspect where you can just throw the firewall down, someone throws their cloud down, then you get all that damage.
Right, I never thought of that part about the detail you can whip out. I mean, there is a lot of these interactions that are like kind of flip the whole translation of this game because of the way the sorceries interact and the way that the elements in this game interact. You can make, for example, a DF tornado in a last-second situation and absolutely blow somebody up. With no prior. You can just like turn a complete fight due to just the chance of somebody throwing down a tornado or you igniting it right in somebody's face. It makes all the difference, really, when it comes down to it. Once again, it looks like the slide is getting messed up, so we're going to go back to this discussion. We apologize for the technical difficulties on the side of screen sharing in Discord, but once again, at least you guys can still see the action. It's the uninterrupted action. We're getting down to it. I think my prediction for someone to win this game is going to be Croza. We saw just a little bit of the action he was whipping out, and he looks like he's on point with it. Once again, though, the problem with the Sorcery Only round is that it kind of comes down to just a little bit of luck, honestly. With all the AoEs, with the way that we saw the final circle going last time, it's just craziness. It's pure craziness, especially if there's nowhere to hide.
No, and this looks like a very open area. So if it keeps going in the middle, you can't hide from anything. Not a tree, not a wall, not a ceiling. It's just open.
And it looks like, so what the final circle is going to be is it's going to be an even guard. I think that's the kind of place that it's converging on. So you see all of these people try to break it through. We are talking through a delay, so we'll try to make sure that we just limit ourselves to objective things to talk about so it doesn't get too confusing. But we see more and more of this come through. The situation with even guard is, like you mentioned, once it gets into the very center, there's absolutely nowhere to hide. There's no cover for you to protect yourself. And all you're doing is just trying to stay alive. The thing is, because of the way that the conduit sorcery works, such a large portion of the area will be controlled by a certain player. It makes it very hard to get some work done here in the final situation. There is going to be massive amounts of chaos as we get down to 15 people in the final circle.
Yeah, this is crazy. I think something that's interesting about the conduit is it's straight vertical. Anybody above it at all, period, hits it. So if you're in that tight zone at the very end, you're pretty much done for if anyone uses it. Especially if they're inside conduit and not just using lightning, because that's 4 hits rapid.
Yeah.
And every single person in there gets it.
And it's 4 hits, and as you said, super quick, and that's 80 damage total. Yeah. And in a game like this, where you can't rely on a frost shot to do 80 damage, you can't rely on an outbreak slap, 80 damage in a short period of time is actually game-changing. We see that this game will be wrapping up quite quickly. Again, we apologize for the screen share errors. These things happen with technical difficulties. We hope that we can do the best we can, just giving some subjective casting as we see more and more of this unfold. This will be the last event. This was the Encore, aka the 7th event, and it's back to it. We're live on the caster cam, I'm getting word, I believe. Is that true? All right, so now you can see our beautiful faces, and that will conclude the event. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around with us throughout the entirety of it. We are sorry that the very, very end of it, Discord had to go down. I'm getting word that it was errors with the server itself, so at least it's nothing that we can be too sad about. But nonetheless, OP, how did you feel casting your first event?
It was very fun. I had a great time. But do we know who won?
We are going to get scores. We are getting scores in a second here. I think it takes a little bit to actually...
Well, I mean, the sorcery round.
Oh, no, I mean, it's watching on a delay right here, so we're updated at the same time as the people are updated. Let's see exactly what happened. It looks like Soth won the round.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Self-exiled. But yeah, it was a great time. Thank you for having me.
Hey, of course, man. Thank you for joining us. I'm really glad you could come. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And I'm also really glad that the community came through and raised over $300 in 2.5 hours for the Save the Children Coronavirus Response Fund. That is incredible. We set the goal at 500 for 2 days, and we've already hit this milestone in the first day. So thank you. All credit goes to you beautiful people and those who helped build this game as well. So shout out to the developers, shout out to the community, shout out to everybody, and thank you again. I'm very sorry about that last little bit with the Discord. The Canadian in me is coming out, OP. I'm apologizing now, but it's just unfortunate. This stuff happens. Servers go down.
It does.
We're doing the best we can to get through the rest of it. And again, same time tomorrow, same set of events. OSK will be back, so this will be the last you see of OP for now. Not going to spoil any future plans, but for now, until maybe after downtime is done. Thank you again. I hope you had a great time, OP.
I did.
Sitting here on the desk with me. It's a fun experience, and it's an even more fun one to share with the Spellbreak members. Let's have a vote, me and you. What was your favorite event to watch?
I definitely want to say the sorcery. The very first sorcery one we watched, I think it was just so crazy and so out of the norm.
Yeah.
With very strange builds that I didn't really think about, and I think that was the difference. Because we've I don't know, the very first time we saw the stone one too, it was very crazy, very chaotic. Way more so than I thought.
I would put my vote either on Sorcery Only, just like you mentioned, for the uniqueness. But I also, there's something in my heart for Noodle Arena, man. There's just something there. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy watching these people backhand each other in a small area. It's just beautiful. And those are the memories that I'm going to hold with me while we wait for downtime to go through. Once again, there's nothing left for us to talk about other than scores. We are going to get a quick update. We'll go to a BRB screen just to see where we are with score counting. If not, we will end the stream, send off a raid, and you can get the update on Discord once the servers are back up. And if the scores are ready, then we will quickly go live just to show you guys exactly who won today's event. Nonetheless, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a pleasure, as always, to cast for you guys. It's been a pleasure to work with you, OP.
Thank you.
We'll hopefully see you guys soon. Thank you again for all the donations and all the support for the Coronavirus Response Fund.